I'm going to start the show off the way I normally start most shows off, with an apology. Hi everybody, this is the Screen Pupcast, and sorry it has been so long since we last spoke. It has been pretty much a month since the last episode, and really it was just because, hey, last episode was around Christmas time, and that is always a busy time, and then after that, everybody was sick for a long period of time, me especially. I have just now, knock on wood, started getting over multiple things. If any of you have been paying attention to the news, you'll know that America right now is currently going through one of the biggest flu epidemics in decades at this point. In fact, everywhere that I look, there's somebody with the flu. I was watching the Golden Globes, and 2 people there had the flu. Every time that I turn into a live television show, someone has the flu on. So, yeah, I have now just started getting over, still kind of not quite there yet, but just started getting over. But I'm well enough to finally assemble this episode together, and this is our episode dedicated to looking back at 2012. Would have been a hell of a lot better if it had come out closer to New Year's, but hey, as I said, once again, I apologize for that. I also want to apologize for one other thing. In the first part of this show, we start talking about Django Unchained, and I was just planning on having us talk a little bit about, but we started getting so heated into it that we ended up accidentally spoiling a few things, and we decided to just say, what the hell, let's just go into full-on spoiler sport territory and just have an open discussion about it. But I made that decision after some things had already been spoiled. So what happened is, the first time that we spoiled something, I put a big bleep right over it. So after you hear that big bleep, if you haven't seen the movie, get out. Because after that, we can't contain it anymore, and I wasn't going to bleep out everything. So once you hear the big bleep, if you're still sticking around, hey man, that's on you at that point. But as I said, this whole episode was a look back at 2012. And I gotta say, I think that 2012 was an amazing year for entertainment. And we go into great lengths talking about our fondest memories about film and television this year. I would also like to take this time to inform you guys of what's coming up. We have recorded most of our Best of Worst of episodes, so those should be coming out pretty soon. I'm going to put those out. There's 9 of us, so we're going to put those out in 3 installments each with 3 different recordings on them. So you have that to look forward to. Coming up, we also have Valentine's Day coming up, so that is going to be our romantic comedies and romance episode. And then, of course, we have the Oscars coming up, and we have plans for that, including we are going to actually do our reviews for every single one of the movies nominated for Best Picture. So you have that to look forward to as well. Alright, once again, sorry this is so late, but I hope you guys enjoy our look back at 2012. And in honor of a look back at 2012, here is probably the last time you'll ever hear anyone play this.
오빤 강남스타일 강남스타일 낮에는 따사로운 인간적인 여자 커피 한 잔에 여유를 아는 품격 있는 여자 밤이 오면 심장이 뜨거워지는 여자 그런 반전 있는 여자 너는 선호해 낮에는 너만큼 따사로운 그런 선호해 커피 식기도 전에 원샷 때리는 선호해 밤이 오면 심장이 터져버리는 선호해 그런 선호해 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 그래 바로 너 아름다워 사랑스러워 그래 너 그래 바로 너 지금부터 갈 때까지 가볼까
What the hell are all you people doing on my computer? Oh, right, we do a podcast. I forgot about this.
No. Do we?
Yeah,
I
it's
just got
been,
pulled into this, like the Midnight Channel, so...
it's been 3 weeks since we've done an episode. I was happy.
First
hi.
reference of 2013, Persona 4, up top mic.
Yeah.
Oh.
Getting this out early. Alright. Hi, everybody. As you all know, I'm Aaron, and this is...
Shit.
What, Mike? What's going on?
I just realized the Paley Fest announced all their people, and I gotta go find out who I want to go see. Sorry.
That was Maz. I think he'll be back.
Oh no, I'm still here.
Oh, okay.
You just have to use a web browser.
You just had to interrupt the show with something that could be done silently, which I can't criticize you for because I do the exact same fucking thing.
Paley Fest is the opposite of silent, I'll have you know.
Paley Fest is the Paley Center, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we have one up here in New York. I love that place. It's expensive as hell to get into, but it's so fucking awesome. But yeah, okay. Anyway, I'm Aaron, to all the people still listening 2 seconds into this thing. And joining me today are Jackson.
Hello.
Maz.
Yep, I'm still here.
And Kevin.
Live from Canada. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. Imagine if we did a live episode, how much of a disaster that would be.
I kind of want to do one eventually, because that guy on YouTube did ask, do you guys ever use Ustream? And I was like, that could be interesting for us to do that during the Oscars, except it would be
yes. Yes.
That's what Google Hangout is for.
The first 15 minutes would just be Aaron trying to fix his microphone, though.
I know, we would get to, the middle of the show before we start recording anything for our Oscar thing. I mean, that would be, it would pretty much just be us going, okay, now? No, I still can't hear you. Now? No, okay. Alright.
4,
Oh, 0 to 30,
3,
just 1.
2, okay, numbers. Alright. Anyway, this is the Pupcast, our first episode of 2013. Off to a rousing start. And this episode is going to be dedicated to our look back to 2012. I know most people do that in December, but the mere fact that we're doing this before February is kind of amazing to me. So,
I prefer waiting a little bit till you have because the films come out so close to the end of 2012, you need to have a little bit of perspective before you can properly look back.
I know, and this year it seems like everybody who was an Oscar contender decided to wait until Christmas. Normally they do it throughout December. This year it was the last chance to get stuff in under the wire.
The films weren't even finished. They were editing them the week before they were due out and stuff.
Yeah.
Has anyone been able to see Zero Dark 30 yet?
No, but I'm seeing it tomorrow. So.
Oh, you bastard! I want to see
not-
it, and it's nowhere near me.
25th of January for the UK for that one.
Yeah, and
It starts Friday here, so I'm excited.
Yeah, it's this Friday. It starts in the rest of the country, which I know.
It's sort of the last. It's sort of the last big awards movie to come out theatrically. That wasn't in New York already.
Yeah, so which I feel kind of shitty that this movie was out in only 6 theaters. One of them being Around Me, and I loved her last film. But I've been sick for the past 3 weeks. If anybody listened to our Christmas episode, that was the last one that we recorded. And I started that thing off by saying, yeah, I think I'm coming down with something. I came down with something fucking huge. I'm still getting over it, so.
It came down with Christmas.
Yes, I kind of did. If it honestly had not been for all the stress that Christmas placed on my body, I seriously would have been over this in 2 days. I'm still, loading up on antibiotics at the moment and just crawling out of my bed to do this show right now. So, if I just cough randomly throughout the middle of this thing, I apologize to everybody. Just get ready for it. All right. But speaking of that,
every other podcast, you're coming down with something. So obviously, this podcast is making you sick, Aaron.
I would not be surprised. That was not a joke. That was a legitimate one. All right. But how was everybody else's Christmas?
That's all right.
I ate a lot of tamales.
Tamales for Christmas?
Yeah, Mexican Christmas, man.
All right.
And I got a Nexus 7, so yay.
Everyone is getting a Nexus 7. What even is that?
It's a 7-inch Android tablet that Google is their official Google tablet of the year, essentially. So it's got none of the shitty versions of Android on it, and it works. I watch movies and stuff, read comics, peruse the internet.
Yeah, I've got a Nook, which, yeah, the Nook it's a great thing unless you want to read comics. There's only one digital comic book store out there, and every single tablet out there allows you to read on there except for the Nook. The one that, of all the people you know, the one guy who would use their tablet almost primarily for reading comics gets the one tablet that you can't read comics on. So, white people problems. Okay, I was about to say, I sound like the most horrible person in the world right now.
Oh no, there's someone on my course at uni who has just got given a Kindle Fire, and he's like, oh, he's acting so high and mighty about it. It's been like, yeah, I'd just rather have a piece of paper, you know, man. And I'm like, fuck you. Just listen to yourself right now. Oh.
I would rather have a piece of paper than a Kindle Fire, but I'm dumb.
Oh shit!
You could sell the Kindle Fire and get a lot of fucking paper. Let me tell you that.
And then you could set it on fire.
Put your paper where your mouth is,
Exactly.
motherfucker. All right. So
I watched all the Avengers movies in one night in a packed cinema over Christmas on like the day after Boxing Day. It was amazing.
Drink 5-hour energies all the time?
No, I just stayed up because I don't know. I'm an idiot.
no, man, I watched all the Avenger films like in the theater, back to back to back. I mean, it's an awesome experience.
It's so good because I don't like Thor and Captain America, really, or the Incredible Hulk. But then when you've got an audience, it makes those films so much better. You finally understand why a lot of blockbusters are the kind of stupid in the way they are, because when you have the right audience, they still work, even if they're kind of bad
Oh,
movies.
absolutely.
Like,
Yeah, I've always said
Yeah.
that going to see those movies in a theater is the best. I mean, with The Incredible Hulk, I like that movie. I think it's a fine, popcorn flick. But I mean, I saw that in a theater packed with people, and there were 6 standing ovations during the final fight. And I mean, it makes
Why?
because it's kind of fucking
That's-
awesome when you're in the right crowd, and that's exactly my point. If you're in the right crowd, it's a fucking fun movie.
This was just a crowd that we laughed at all the unfunny moments in Hulk. So the Hulk is a terrible film, but it was amazing to watch. And every single time Phil Coulson was on screen, the entire audience applauded. That's the kind of crowd it was. It was great.
Works for me.
Yeah, well, before we go into what movies we've seen, I got a question for you guys. I don't normally do this, but I got a question. We've gathered together some of the great entertainment minds that I had available, and
We gathered together some of the best entertainment minds that were online
that
on
were able to come on at the last minute.
Yeah, it's a shame we couldn't get Roger Ebert at the last minute.
And he was online on Skype too. I don't know what was his
He
problem.
blinked out at the last moment, seriously, if I had just messaged him sooner. Alright. But no, I've got a question for you guys. We're recording this after the very first box office weekend of January, and what won this weekend was Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3D, which has gotten absolutely horrible reviews, but actually made a fairly decent chunk of cash in the first week of January. Let's flash back to a year ago. Very first week of January 2012, The Devil Inside came out, also just cleaned up. What do you guys think is the reason why really shitty horror films are just cleaning up in the first week of January?
Really shitty horror films clean up whenever, and they happen to come out in the first week of January.
It's cold. Not many people want to go outside. All the good movies people have already seen. So, yeah, horror movies.
It's also just like a stretch of time where not a lot of horror movies come out after October. Like November and December are usually devoid of much horror movies. On you'll get occasionally like the small limited release. Like I think the Collector or something like that came out in November. But for bigger movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, nothing really comes out until January, which is sort of a dud month for Oscar movies expanding and not much newer movies coming out.
February, though. That's going to be the month where we're all just going to be like, I don't want to see any movies ever again.
Yeah, February and January are typically famous for being dump months, and if you look at the stuff coming out in January, holy shit, this year looks worse than I normally see than most Januaries.
Except for February has the new Die Hard movie, so that's sort of the big headliner movie.
So it's devoid of any movie that you would want to see.
And G.I. Joe
Still.
Retaliation.
Wait,
March.
that's coming out in February now? I thought it was
that's
summer.
March.
It's March.
Oh, damn it. I want to see that movie.
I do too, for some odd reason.
And back. Alright. But yeah, alright, yeah, that's just something that was bugging me. Like, that's the only explanation I can come up with. It's that it's the stretch, and also it's just, I think people are just kind of tired of, I think they just want a dumb movie. It's too long without dumb movies, basically.
It's either
I just
you
think it
see
is.
Les Mis or you go see Texas Chainsaw Massacre at this point.
Yeah, and it doesn't have an overlap audience, I don't think.
But I think actually the biggest reason is that you get after Christmas, young people get money.
Oh.
Teenagers get a fuck ton of money at Christmas, and teenagers don't want to go and see. Teenagers I knew, at least, they don't want to go and see Zero Dark 30. They want to go see it's Texas Chainsaw 3D. That looks dumb. It's out now. We're just about to go back to school. Let's see people get murdered.
Yeah.
I would assume that's why they put it right there.
You know, I think that's also a factor in it. Alright, that was just bugging me. But yeah, let's start off. Jackson already kind of started us off. What have you guys seen recently? And last time I asked that question, we went on for a fucking hour.
Oh, we're not going to do
Yeah,
that.
let's keep it a little bit calmer. But yeah, what have you guys seen recently? Who wants to talk about something?
Oh, me.
Alright, go.
Rising Sun, the Wesley Snipes and
Sean Connery
movie. Actually, kind of good. It does a really good job in the beginning of, building this shadowy world. It totally blows it all by the end, and Sean Connery as, a LA cop who is a, all-knowing Japanese culture expert makes no sense. But it also has the dude who played Heihachi from the live Tekken movie in it. So that's cool.
The live Tekken.
Oh,
movie.
my God.
And it had Macau. Uncle Ira.
That's
from,
and it had Steve
okay,
Buscemi.
alright.
yeah.
Alright.
Yeah. Other than that, I just kind of want to bitch about The Hobbit and Les Mis.
You want to bitch about The Hobbit and Les Mis?
What's your beef, Mike? What's your beef?
The Hobbit is just too long and excessive when it didn't have the stuff to really go for nearly 3 hours.
You're just describing all Lord of the Rings movies now.
Yeah, but I would argue that those movies could be 3 hours. The Hobbit doesn't need to be three-hour movies.
No, The Hobbit is 9 hours. Yeah, The Hobbit is 9 hours.
Yeah, it just doesn't need to be that long. It looks pretty, but I was just kind of bored.
Disconnected from the books, though. That's kind of the same with all Lord of the Rings movies. You say in a Lord of the Rings movie that you could have cut half of this out. You could have made it shorter. They just didn't. And the only difference is that there's less source material in The Hobbit.
Well, now, remember,
Whereas,
granted, I haven't seen The Hobbit yet. I'm seeing it later, but from what I understand is that they took stuff that was not in the book but was basically extended fiction that J.R.R. Tolkien wrote afterwards, basically to kind of flesh out the universe and put it in there. And this is a complaint that I hear from a lot of critics, is that it takes focus away from what the actual story is.
Oh, yeah.
It's not perfect.
If they had, done it oh, here's a road story that Gandalf was going to tell you, I would have been fine with it. But it's not. Also, they quit singing after, the first hour, which was a bit of a bummer, because that was kind of cool. And different.
They quit what?
They quit singing after a while.
They only had one song.
Well,
It was that one song, and then they sang it a bit more.
They had
wanted
two
to do more
songs.
singing.
Was there another song?
There was the Misty Mountain song, then there was the Bilbo Baggins Dishes song.
Yeah. I just thought it was...
I just want to...
I'm getting crotchety.
I don't think thinking a film is too long is a crotchety complaint.
Yeah.
That's fine. You're well within your rights to think that, because it's a fucking 3-hour movie, and when you have a 3-hour movie, the theatre puts on more adverts to compensate, so you're in there for nearly 4 fucking hours. Oh, Christ.
And Les Mis also just kind of got boring after a while, because Tom Hooper just kept using the same, basically 3 shots to frame every musical sequence. And damn it, the music is fine, okay? But I don't need to stare at Russell Crowe or Eddie Redmayne or whoever the hell's face the entire movie. I could count stubble. Stop showing me their faces.
I really enjoyed Les Mis, and I've seen the play. I saw the play in London when I was a teenager, and didn't really care for it, but then again, I was a teenager, and if you're a teenager who cares about Les Mis, I don't know. Good for you. Good for you. I applaud you.
Yeah, because everything else you cared about as a teenager was really cool.
Yeah, exactly. If you care about Les Mis as a teenager, you're some kind of freaky mutant, because the stuff you like when you're a teenager is kind of supposed to be crap. But Anyway, yeah, I saw it. I really, really enjoyed it. I do have complaints with it, but most of my complaints are my complaints with the musical itself. Because this is not one of those musicals where they're telling the story and then they sing a part of the story. This is one big sing fest. Yeah. This is one big song, and there's a lot of stuff in there in which it should not be a song. It should be, hey man, here's what you need to do. And then they go do it and sing about doing it. Instead it is, hey, pass me that paper. Thank you. I'm going to write now. It's like, no, man.
Please, could you get me a pen? I lost mine yesterday.
This one is out of ink.
I did like the kind of, like, quote-unquote live singing that they did.
Just that's pretty cool.
I liked that, but I also got bored of that after a while because I kept staring at their faces.
I'm kind of the other way around. The first half of it, I was like, this is nice. The second half is what really got me into it, and I think it's because in the second half there was a lot less of the I'm just singing about what I'm doing, going up the stairs, and more of like singing about actual big things. And let me also say this. People who have listened to the show, you've heard me talk about Anne Hathaway before. You know that I recognize her as a talented actress, but for some reason she just never jived with me. For some reason, Anne Hathaway is just one of those actresses who I always used to watch and just go, she's alright, I guess. Like, I don't know why, there was something about her that just did not work with me. She's in this movie for 10 minutes, and I was sitting there going, greatest American treasure. Holy crap. Melt down all the Oscars and give it to her.
I Dreamed a Dream is like the set is, yeah, basically like number 2 on most overplayed songs ever to me. First being Memories from Cats.
Obviously.
Great song, great moment. I'm not saying you could have put anyone in that moment and it would have been just as affecting, but don't give her an Oscar because she sang a good song.
It's not that she sang a good song, it's that she acted her ass off while singing a good song. I mean, she put so much emotion into it. Sorry. Anyway, I think that she just, in like 10 minutes, she was just able to completely take my heart and just twist it around, and it's not the song doing it. It's her presentation of the song. It's her delivery. It's the fact that this is not people walking over into the corner when they sing and then having a spotlight coming on them and sing. She's acting, and you can see the turmoil in her face while she's going through this.
It was a legitimately good moment, but overall, I think they could find a better person to give the Oscar to. Not that those really matter anyway, but yeah.
You know what? Boxing doesn't matter either. I enjoy watching it. The Super Bowl is as rigged as the Oscars. It's still fun to watch, okay, people? Yeah. It's still fun to play along.
What did you think of Russell Crowe, though? Because I came away liking him way more than most other people seem to have.
You know what? Most people hated him in that. I was like, he's okay. It's like,
yeah, he was pretty good.
I think
he's not Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah, people think he's a bad singer. It's not that he's a bad singer, it's that his singing voice is totally different than his speaking voice. And he only speaks like 3 lines in the whole movie, because that's the most number of lines anyone speaks in the movie. And he sings the rest. So whenever he stops and says those lines, not singing them, it's like, holy fuck! It takes you out of it for a second, because his singing voice is so different.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so now that we have a Les Mis musical, can we get an Avenue Q musical now for a movie?
That is one of those ones in which I almost feel like that has to be on stage. I mean, having the puppets actually...
Yeah.
I saw that, and there was a moment where the puppets actually run through the audience trying to collect money from people, and it's like, you can't not... That's
how about
in
this?
the music.
A completely not on stage, completely on sets, filmed like an actual movie, but it's people holding puppets and you can see the people.
I'd be cool with that. You know what? If they could sell it, I'd be cool with it.
What about a Muppets movie?
They made that last year.
Avenue Q.
Dude, don't ruin my childhood.
But that's how you make money these days, ruining childhoods.
Speaking of ruining childhoods, I watched all the Transformers films in one night because I'm a terrible person. I don't know why I do this to myself.
Yeah, did you not just, fall into a deep depression after 2?
Well, I've kind of made
Revenge
my
of the Fallen,
peace
not
with...
like the first Michael Bay movie.
No, I know what you meant, but I've kind of made my peace with 2 because that's so terrible. Michael Bay is really weird because I can tell, just like with a Wes Anderson film, I can tell within 3 frames that this is a Michael Bay movie. He's like an auteur of shit.
Yeah.
And that is really weird to me because it's clearly got a lot of directorial control and a lot of creative input, which is what people would normally associate with good quality. But he just wants to be shit. It's not like the
He
studio's
wants to
forcing
be a
him to be
child.
shit.
He wants his explosions. He wants the girl's ass in his face. That's what he wants.
Oh. And I think 3 is worse than 2. Watching them back to back, 3 is a lot worse than 2. Jesus Christ, 3 is fucking
I
terrible.
think they're pretty even. I don't really think one is any better than the other. I do think that 2 is worse, but I not by a lot. Like most people go, well, at least 3 wasn't 2. It's real fucking close to me.
Well, no, I think the bits with the job, him searching for the job, and John Malkovich, and then when the Asian guy from Community
Ken
turns
Jeong.
up, Jeong, yeah. That's way worse than any of the college shit in 2. I mean, the college shit in 2 is bad, but holy shit.
I don't know.
Back to back.
I don't like Kim Jong, but I'll take Kim Jong over the Negro bots any day. Over the Step and Fetch bots.
They weren't in it that much. I remember them. Oh god, these fucking bots. They were in it they only had about 10 lines overall, and it was surprising because the tiny sidekick box and 3 were actually in it more. And the final battle of Transformers 3 is so bad. It's so terrible because there's one moment in the middle of the film where it looks like, holy shit, it's actually about to get good, when all the Decepticons show up and he's sitting on the fucking Abraham Lincoln statue, and that's dumb. And you think, wait, are they about to get on with it? And then it goes immediately back to dumb comedy. And you don't care about anyone in the final battle scene. There's no focus on the robots. It's all this group of humans who they solely introduce for this battle scene and then kill off in the battle scene. Like, who does this? Who made? Oh,
Yeah, it is not done well. And
then I watched Bad Boys and Bad Boys 2.
hold on, before we go, I just also have to say, the most insulting part of that, and Jackson, you're the Star Trek fan. I'm not the.
Oh no, I know.
But the
I know.
moment where he actually stops and goes,
Oh, God.
when will the Autobots learn that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few? That has nothing to do with what they're talking about. They just
Yes, it did. They
stopped
played an episode of Star Trek near the beginning of the movie.
They just stopped the fucking movie for that moment.
And at some point, Sam says that this is like the Starship Enterprise. Oh, Jesus Christ.
And I love that
I
love that they're making a big deal out of the fact that the next one takes place 4 years after the last one. It's like, yeah, that's how long it's going to take you to make the fucking movie, you idiot. Why is that so important?
What I want to know is, how did Josh Duhamel not parlay Transformers notoriety into a better film career? Because, like, seriously, he could have been the cheap man's Channing
Tatum.
He could have been the cheap man's Channing Tatum. With
Well, you
less
have to
talent.
remember, before this year, Channing Tatum was the cheap man's Channing Tatum. You have to remember, this was the year where Channing Tatum blew up. Before that, it was like, ew, Channing Tatum.
And now
I'm
it's
glad
like,
that
ooh,
award
Channing
is named
Tatum.
right after Channing Tatum, even though it's being recognized for him too.
Yeah.
You're giving the award to Channing Tatum for a award that's named Channing Tatum.
He deserved it this year.
Yeah. He won the Channing Tatum. He won the Golding Tatum.
But, yeah, continuing the Michael Bay theme, Bad Boys 2, I think, is one of the worst movies of all time. I hate Bad Boys 2 so much. I don't know why I watched it after watching 3 Transformers movies, but Jesus. Do you know what?
Did you go from
Did I see what-
Transformers 3 to Bad Boys 2, or did you watch Bad Boys 1 in between?
I watched Bad Boys 1 in between, and that's a bad movie, but it's just a bad movie. It's just a not very good film. But Bad Boys 2 is so much more than that. It is. Do you all know what happens at the end of that film, right?
Yeah.
No, I've avoided it.
Yeah,
Okay, here's what happens. I'm about to spoil Bad Boys 2, the horror. They blow up a mansion in Cuba. The army starts following them. They get into a yellow Humvee, the very essence of American excess, crash a slum favela in the middle of Cuba, going, they're probably drug dealers anyway. And then, to escape to fucking freedom, they go, we need to get to Guantanamo Bay.
What?
What? Yeah, I'm not kidding. They genuinely go, we need to get to Guantanamo Bay. It's safe there.
Wow. In this Michael Bay marathon, did you at least watch The Rock?
I've seen that before. I don't like The Rock either.
Oh, that's like my favorite Michael Bay movie.
Same.
It's like the only good one he's ever made.
I was about to say, that's nothing to brag about that that's your favorite Michael Bay film. That's
No,
the one acceptable one.
It's also legitimately good, though.
Yeah, I agree. Like, you get Ed Harris in there, totally great villain with a purpose.
And that one doctor from Scrubs who was like really jacked for some reason.
John C. McGinley.
Yeah,
he's
in Seven as well for 2
Yeah,
minutes.
there was a time in which he was in fucking everything for 2 minutes, in which he could have been the secret Kevin Bacon game, because he's in like every movie, but only for like that.
How long did we turn it to 2 Degrees to Bryan Cranston?
Oh, he's getting there. Speaking of John C. McGinley, I saw Glenn Ross, not the
downright
movie, the Broadway play. They brought it back to Broadway.
How good was it?
It is good.
I hear it's disappointing.
But yeah, it's good, but kind of disappointing at the same time.
I hear Al Pacino doesn't bring it as he does in the movie.
Yeah, you want to get my whole review for me? Because you're on.
Okay, sure.
You're on target right now. Yeah, that is the problem. They have Al Pacino in there, and Al Pacino is playing Jack Lemmon's role from the movie. And yeah, he does not bring it. I mean, honestly, it's not like I was sitting really far away, but like, I was watching it, and I mean, Al Pacino was basically just going, the leads, Johnny, give me the leads. I can't sell shit with this. It was, I mean, it's either like he mumbled every line and couldn't understand it, or it was once again screaming Al Pacino. And that pains me to say, because I was like, no. Al Pacino's been getting a bad rap lately just because he's been put in shitty movies. This is going to be him in something good, and it's going to be him coming back, and
He's a living legend, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
How many years has it been since Al Pacino, quote unquote, brought it to something though?
Yeah.
Was it Insomnia?
Honestly, I think that the problem isn't that he hasn't brought. I think he's been bringing it too hard and can't not bring it at that one level.
Jack and Jill, obviously.
Oh yeah, obviously.
Oh yeah, sorry,
but yeah, I brought it up because the one thing about the play, which is actually better than the movie, is John C. McGinley is in there, and he's playing. I can't remember the character's name in the movie, but he was the guy who was talking about what if somebody broke in and got the leads. What if somebody just broke in? He plays that role. He is fucking hilarious. Every line out of his mouth is like knee-slapping funny. I mean, and he is so good in that. So I'm glad to see that he's at least still getting stuff, because on Scrubs, he was always my favorite thing about that, and it pissed me off that the Emmys never looked at that show and went, that guy deserves at least a nomination.
I feel that Richard Jenkins should be in that play for some reason. He seems perfect for that.
Huh. I can see that. Let's see. Who wants to go next? Who's seen something else?
I saw stuff.
Go ahead.
What's that?
I saw The Rescuers.
Oh, nice. Oh, wait a sec. I just saw The Rescuers Down Under like a couple days ago too.
Yeah, like Rescuers Down Under is better. Fact.
It has a giant eagle.
I don't
Yeah,
honestly.
Mary
I don't
Hote.
even remember the original Rescuers because I saw it when I was such a little kid. But
It's still about like Bernard and Bianca. Bianca still works for like the UN of mice,
Yeah.
basically. And Bernard he's only like a janitor in that first movie, and then she chooses him to go on an assignment to save this young girl named Penny, who was an orphan. And then she ran away, and then she was kidnapped by this like Lady Medusa, who owns a pawn shop and is looking for this very valuable diamond in the bayou.
and I always remember the animation on the villain being incredible. Just the way she was drawn being so cool.
Well, yeah, like this was Don Bluth before he went on and did his own company. Like this is when he was working for Disney.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I have not seen it since probably I was before 5, and there were certain things in there that once I saw it, I immediately remembered it. Like I remembered there's this dragonfly that has like this small little role, and I remember there's like this diamond in the skull, and just like tiny little things that just like immediately came back to me once I saw it. But once I was watching it, I just kept thinking about Rescuers Down Under is way more fun. But there's like a 13-year gap between The Rescuers and Rescuers Down Under.
Oh, you're right. There is. There's a big gap between those two. I forgot.
Yeah, and Rescuers Down Under was a big deal, like back in the 90s, because this was the first Disney animated film to get a sequel. Like that's commonplace now, but for like back in 1990, that's still kind of a rarity. So yeah. I saw that, and I saw The Bourne Legacy.
Think
And
of that.
that probably takes the crown for movie I am the most divisive about. Because there's certain elements in there that I actually really liked, and the whole idea about chems and all that stuff is really interesting, but it shouldn't be in a Bourne movie, though. That's the thing.
I need all the chems. Where are your chems?
Yeah, like when Jeremy Renner showed up talking to Rachel Weisz, and he's like, "Where's the chems? Where's the chems?" It's like suddenly.
When he meets up with the other guy, and he's like, "What chems are you on, man? What chems they putting you on?" You listen to your own words, Jeremy Renner. You are saying this out loud.
Yeah, 4 months of jokes and memes finally made total sense to me.
Oh, the thing about that film is, don't know if you agree, but that should be the best spy film ever made, because Mind Game between Jeremy Renner and Edward fucking Norton as the sleazy boss is, sign me up, that is the best spy film ever, make it right now.
And they have no confrontation at all. And the villain that they do manage to get to have a confrontation with Jeremy Renner, he just kind of comes out of left field right near like the last 40 minutes, and it's just completely unsatisfying. In that way, and that chase scene goes on for way too long, but I still think it's Tony Gilroy who wrote all the 3 previous movies, and he directed Michael Clayton, which I think is an amazing movie, and I think he does actually really good work, and he still has the style of the Bourne movies, but it's still a little bit more restraint than what Paul Greengrass did for the last 2 movies. And I think Gilroy does some really interesting things with the franchise, but I just feel like for this chem stuff, it sort of destroys this whole mystique that was around like the whole Treadstone program and Jason Bourne. Like they had this small little dialogue near the beginning that Jason Bourne had been off like the chems for like 3 years, but yet he was like still working his body at like the same level that he was on, like when he was on the pills, and that sort of ruins like what made Jason Bourne so cool in those first 3 movies. So it's I sort of wish it wasn't a Bourne movie, but I'm still sort of curious what they would do for a sequel if it's gonna get one.
Yeah, because it like just made its money back, and when something just makes it, that's typically when people go, maybe it's time to call it quits on this. So.
Yeah, not when it's Bourne, and you can say Matt Damon's back. That's what they'll do.
Except Matt Damon's
eventually.
not going
I
to come
wouldn't
back.
mind a
I don't
Matt
think
Damon, crap. Now I can't remember his name.
Ben Affleck?
Bourne.
Yeah, not Ben Affleck. That would be cool too, though. Jeremy Renner team-up movie, though.
Yes.
I would rather have John Krasinski as Jason Bourne. I don't know why.
John Krasinski.
Jim from The
I don't
Office.
know. I want to see.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. It's all this stuff about that Promised Land movie that just came out.
Oh, I see. You know what movie I'd love to see? I'd love to see Matt Damon call up his buddy Ben Affleck and say, "There's this guy running around who he needs to catch."
They're doing that next film. That's their next film. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck are writing their next film together.
I was going to make a joke about Daredevil hunting down Hawkeye, but sure, you can jump in with reality. Sure.
Oh! I ruined your amazing joke.
Yeah, alright, fine. Alright, fuck it. That was my one amazing joke for the year, god damn it. I only get one.
I'm so sorry.
Alright, whatever. Alright.
2014.
2014. Looking forward to it. Alright, better start writing it now. Alright. I saw, like I said, I don't want to go on for too long, but I saw a bunch of movies in preparation for trying to make my best of list that are not going to be on the best of list or on the worst. So I'm just going to run off them. Any ones you guys want to hear about, just let me know. Cosmopolis, Dread, Django Unchained.
Let's talk about Django Unchained.
All right, yeah, let's talk about Django Unchained. I think there is a fantastic movie in there. I think there was a 5-star movie in there. that Quentin Tarantino just run up to it and went, "Ee-hee-hee-hee-hee," and just started poking it just because he wants to. It's like, there's so much great stuff in here. I think there's a fantastic movie in there, but there's a lot of stuff in there that I just did not like, and a lot of it has to do with stuff that you look at and go, this is the stuff Quentin Tarantino loves to do. And I mean, it just did not. I mean, I still like the movie. I give it a B. I give it 4 stars. But man, it is just disappointing to see that there is a truly amazing movie in there. That Quentin Tarantino to me just kept fucking up. But at the same time, I don't want to say he fucked it up, because the stuff I like in there is also Tarantino. It's, Tarantino, to me, this is a guy, he used to have a writing partner who left, and then he used to have an editor he trusted, and she passed away. And to me, those two...
He never really had He never really had a co-writer. He only had, Roger Avery for Pulp Fiction, and that's pretty much it.
Oh, I thought that they also did Jackie Brown. All right, my mistake.
I don't think so.
Okay, but yeah, to me, those two kind of served as, at least his editor, who stuck by him through those first 3 movies, kind of served
Sandy
as his ego and his super ego. And without them, it's just pure id up there.
Yeah. Did you enjoy Jamie Foxx? I thought he was just kind of okay in that inoffensive
honestly,
sort of way.
Yeah, honestly, I was like, that's Jamie Foxx playing Jamie Foxx. Okay.
Yeah.
That's Jamie Foxx.
He's wearing a blue suit.
Yeah.
Killing people.
I think
I will say this,
his
though.
character's a bit of an enigma, and I think that's sort of the point.
Kind of, but at the same time, there's a moment in there in which it's when it's basically, there's like a 30-minute moment in which is like just Leonardo DiCaprio and Christoph Waltz are the 2 stars, and like there should not be a 30-minute moment in which the title character of your movie is just unimportant, in my opinion.
Well, I think Django Unchained is Tarantino's best movie since Jackie Brown, hands down.
I will agree with that, but
I think this is. I know you were saying like there's a lot of Tarantino isms in this movie.
Yeah,
I think Tarantino, when he's not doing like his deep down inside, I sort of feel like Tarantino should just have a movie blog, so that he can talk about all of his favorite movies, so he doesn't have to have those moments.
Okay, yeah.
In Inglourious Bastards, where they're talking about obscure 1940s French movies. And I think, because movies didn't exist in the time frame of the South, before pre-Civil War, I think that limits Tarantino to just being a storyteller, and I think he does that in an A+ fashion in this movie, and until the end.
The end is a Looney Tunes cartoon. Yeah.
That movie should have been written for the ending to happen.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
I'll believe that out.
You what? Spoilers. Yeah.
Yeah, this is not. This is not the spoiler sport segment, but yeah, it's yeah. Okay, I'll bleep that out.
In that section where the shootout happens at the Candyland.
Yeah.
That should have been where Tarantino should have ended that movie.
I absolutely agree with you on that, yeah.
He should have set up those scenes with Steven and the confrontation between him and Django for that scene. I think everything that happens in those extraneous scenes afterwards just feels like Tarantino isn't ready to end his movie, and I think it suffers that. And it took the wind right out of my sails when I was watching it. It just felt
and it didn't
incredible high.
And it didn't help that what follows that amazing moment is Tarantino's cameo in the film. Yeah. Which, I mean, don't get me wrong, I never really thought a Tarantino cameo in one of his films was any good. This was groan-worthy, in my opinion, his cameo in this one.
It felt weird, especially with his accent.
Yeah, it's like,
and the fact that he gets blown
First off, I'm sorry, there were no Australians in America at that time. I don't know what you're referencing with this, because I'm assuming that's what you're doing.
He had to get Michael Parks in there somehow.
What?
He had to get Michael Parks in there somehow.
Yeah, that's true. All right, yeah. But yeah, I mean, it was painful, that cameo moment.
And the scene in Candyland between Schultz and Calvin is incredible. Like when they're talking about Alexander Dumas. Also, if Tarantino's gonna make a reference to anything, like movie, literature, anything, Alexander Dumas, way to go. That's
He
the
does.
right choice.
He does have another reference in there, which this movie.
Yeah.
To me, it didn't really seem quite like it was him trying to do an homage to westerns, so much as once again doing an homage to blaxploitation films. And there is a moment in there in which I won't say it because I'm white and I can't say it, but he references a blaxploitation film by having a random character be named the same name as a blaxploitation film, which once again I can't say the name of it, but yeah,
like the scene where Schultz and Calvin are going head-to-head over them finalizing the deal, and then Schultz saying, I would say adieu in this normal situation, but adieu means to see you again, and I frankly never want to see you again. Like, that stuff is genuinely thrilling.
Oh, yeah.
And it's such a great build-up, and the fact that they have this really graphic and bloody standoff in the ranch, and then everyone dies, basically, in that moment.
In a horrific manner, yeah. I mean, it is full-blown
and then
special
it just
effects kind of
full-blown stop when Django surrenders. I feel that sort of ruins the momentum that movie had going, and the stuff that, like, even though that I don't like that stuff, like, the scenes that just happen afterwards, I don't think are entirely necessary when Django goes after basically everybody he came across in his journey to kill them. I just kind of thought of that viral video of that guy who was talking about the cops breaking into his house or something.
That guy, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah,
like, Django's going to come after everybody.
A lot of the people who were in that shack, you know what? Fuck it. Spoiler sport. This is no longer us talking about what movies we've seen. This is the spoiler sport segment. This is the Django Unchained spoiler sport. This, 5 seconds to get to your computer and stop it if you want. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. When he goes to that cabin and he kills all the people there that were, the ones torturing him and such, not torturing him, but, were working for him. There's one person who very clearly was a woman hiding her face.
That was Zoe Bell. And what a terrible way to have a Zoe Bell cameo in a movie.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, what the fuck was the point of that? If you're not going to actually acknowledge it, why is there clearly a woman hiding there who you do place plenty of focus on in just the way that you shoot her? Then what the heck is the point of that?
Was anyone else surprised at how good Samuel L. Jackson was in this movie?
I really hate saying he was good because I didn't know it was possible to put Samuel L. Jackson in blackface. Because that moment, that character just makes me feel uncomfortable because it is such a racist stereotype. But at the same time, I gotta say, he did an incredible acting job in it.
I felt like the first scene where he shows up when everyone arrives at Candyland, I felt like this is the most Sam Jackson role I've ever seen. And then I wasn't really enjoying his character that much, but it was that moment where the dinner's happening.
Yeah.
And he goes into the kitchen and talks to Kerry Washington's character, and he just becomes one of the most terrifying villains I've seen in a movie this year.
Oh yeah, and the moment where he pulls Leonardo DiCaprio aside, and actually it's kind of like, he's kind of talking to Leonardo DiCaprio like he's his boss, almost.
Yeah, and that's when that moment happens, Tarantino shows how brilliantly he wrote this character.
Yeah, exactly.
And how well Sam Jackson pulls it off.
If anybody can make such an offensive stereotype a great character, it's Tarantino. That's why I'm saying I don't want to speak badly of Tarantino, because the stuff I like in here and the stuff that is amazing in this film is also Tarantino-isms. But it's, I felt like Tarantino is kind of like the Hulk, and someone has to actually aim him at something. They have to actually grab him and go, Tarantino, direct, and actually get him a little under control. Because, also, kind of with, this is what a lot of people have been talking about, but kind of with, the overuse of the N-word in this. It's... Tarantino has established himself as a guy who just likes saying that word in his movies. And, it gets to a point where it's like, oh, this is shocking, where this is what it was like being said back then. And then it gets to a point where it's like white noise with me. And then it goes beyond that, in which is like, man, this is just groan-worthy. This is just bad writing to use any one word this many times.
I think it'd be disingenuous if you didn't have the word.
Oh, I'm not saying you don't have it in there at all.
I just think he used it too much.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying don't have it in there at all, because it does show the time that they're living in.
Yeah,
but
it's a terrible word, and it shouldn't be used now at all. Like, that moment in Coach Carter is pretty much the reason that word should be banished from the English language entirely.
Yeah. But, I mean, I'm not saying don't have it in there at all, because, I mean, it does point out the time that you're living in. But, I mean, Tarantino has already established himself as a guy who just likes saying that word in his movies, especially pointing out there when it's not needed. And, I mean, this, Tarantino does sometimes just act so much like a kid that this seems like, to me, that it wasn't really him, trying to make a statement. It was more of like, I finally get to use it as much as I want! And just, it was... I mean, there are moments in there where they say it like 6 times in a minute. And I mean, it really just it takes you out of it. It makes you groan. At least it made me groan at those moments.
Yeah, I still think Django Unchained it's going to be on my top 10 list if the movie had ended there, or where we were talking about.
Yeah. Probably
wouldn't have been in my top 3, but it'll be on my top 10.
Yeah, and honestly, like I said, I know it makes it sound like I'm saying I don't like this movie. I still give this 4 stars. I'm just kind of disappointed, because to me, it was a 5-star movie that just kind of kept dropping down. And so, but yeah,
I want to... Can I? How was Cosmopolis? Was Edward?
Hold on a second. Yeah, okay. Spoilers over.
Yeah. I know.
Okay, he's back. All right. So that was spoiler for Django Unchained. All right.
Did you go crazy on spoilers?
Yeah, we tried not to, but yeah, we just could not talk about without going into spoilers. So yeah, we did.
Oh man, I can't wait. It's 9 days.
9 days.
9 days, and I can.
All right, cool. But yeah, Cosmopolis. You know what? This is one of those movies that it really. I feel like anybody who comes out and criticizes the film is going to have fans of the film come and go, well, you clearly didn't understand it. When in actuality, I think it's the people who do understand it who are the ones who don't like it, because this is not a good movie. And I think it's the people who don't understand it who are going to be the most people coming out going, it was so brilliant. Like, honestly, it reminded me so much of Inland Empire. I don't know if anybody actually saw that movie.
Yeah, I've only heard of it.
Yeah, I got dragged there in college on a date, and it's a 3.5-hour date.
Wow, what a weird date.
Yeah, that was a weird first date. I didn't know this girl that well, and we didn't go out after this.
Oh, first date, too.
Yeah. I would have chosen...
Whose idea was this? Was
hers.
This your idea?
It was hers.
Oh.
Totally hers. She dragged me to this thing and went, oh, you're the big film buff around here. All right, cool. This is going to be, everybody tells me this is the film to see. He's the guy who did Arlington Road. Mulholland Drive. Sorry.
Was she trying to impress you by taking you to see the film?
No, she generally wanted to, and she thought that I would be the... It's like, oh, this will be a perfect date, and to go and do this. So...
Yeah,
did you both
have
have...
No. Yeah, this is what happens.
Oh...
Inland Empire is 3.5 hours of David Lynch jerking off. I mean, it is just insanity. I mean, it is the mind of a madman, and we came out of that. And I mean, there was a moment in there in which I was like, oh my god, maybe I'm just an idiot, and everybody's seen something that I don't, and then I look over, and there's this one hipster douchebag there who drops his popcorn, looks down at, and then just starts, for the rest of the movie, scooping the popcorn off the sticky floor and eating it like that, and that's when I realized, oh, these people are fucking morons! And they just think it's brilliant, and we came out of that thing, and she goes, that was amazing, I loved it! What did you think it was about? And I was like, what the fuck do you mean, what do you think it was about? You can't say a movie is great if you have no idea what it's about. You can have multiple ideas. You can say, oh, well, I theorized it was about this, or possibly this, or possibly this, or possibly this. But, I mean, she came out of there and had no idea what she had just seen and loved it because of that. And I'm sorry, that's nothing, in my opinion. I mean, if you walk out of a movie and haven't the slightest clue what it was about, then you can't say you like it, and I think that's what a lot of people are doing, because this is a movie which is basically, it's doing many things, and I gotta give it credit for that. I'm giving it credit, Cosmopolis, I'm giving it credit, because it is trying to do many things. It's trying to do a character study that is a big metaphor for society. And you know what? Hey, sign me up. Totally cool with that. And Cronenberg he has very distorted and weird dialogue, And it's distorted and weird to try and create like this dream-like state and this like very unrealistic reality, basically. And you know what? Hey, I can go with that. And I spent like the first half hour of this film trying to basically decrack the code of what they were saying and like trying to process all the information. And I mean, it was kind of cool there in the beginning, just taking it all in. However,
is this Cosmopolis?
This is Cosmopolis, not Inland Empire. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Cosmopolis is what you guys are asking me about now. Yeah, Cosmopolis. And you know what? He's trying to make a big metaphor about society by making it a character study of this one individual. You know what? Fine. Can totally go with that. I think that's a cool idea. And he's trying to make like this dreamlike dialogue and dreamlike settings to try and get that message across. Once again, cool. Fine with that. And yeah, the first half hour
I
of
thought this was a David Cronenberg movie.
Yeah, this is David Cronenberg.
Then why were we talking about Inland Empire?
Because to me, I think that it brought back so many memories of Inland Empire, so I was going to tell that story to kind of lead into my problems with this movie. And because what I'm saying is, I think it's a lot of the people who did not understand Cosmopolis who thought it was brilliant. And I understood the movie, and I think it's really just lazy. Honestly, and I think it's a mess, is what it is. Because I spent the first half hour of this film trying to decrack the code, and that was cool. Like, there's so much coming at you, and so much, like, you know, weird mystery riddle speak coming in there, that you're just trying to take it all in. And it got to a point in which I don't know if I cracked the code, or if the film just got lazy, because all of a sudden, I no longer had to stop and think about what they were saying. It was all just right there, all just being put right out there, and I just went, this is no longer really a character study. This is just a director talking about his opinions on society to you in this limo where you can't get out. The story is not being advanced. I mean, it is solely... I'm not really getting any more information on this character after this point. This is solely just a director making his opinions about society, but trying to put it into a dreamlike state so that you go along with it and that it does seem, you know, it does kind of match the tone that he's going for. And really, I'm sorry, no, you gotta give me a story, man. You gotta give me something. You can't just sit me down and tell me your opinions. You know what?
Haircuts.
Yeah, even if I totally agree with your opinions, let's look at the newsroom. Once again, I totally agree with the viewpoints in that show.
We don't have to talk about the news.
No. It's okay. A metaphor. It's just a metaphor.
I know, but
I totally agree with the viewpoints in that show, but that's all it is. They just stopped the show to say it. This is nothing but me sitting in a limo listening to random strangers who have no introduction. We don't get told why they're there. They just suddenly pop up in the limo like it's some weird talk show and just start telling us about society. And I'm like, yeah, man, I get you. Was there a story here? Where's the limo going at this point? Alright, seriously, man. I mean, yeah, I think it's just a mess, honestly. It's not going to be on my bottom, because, there is talent.
Because you're an idiot, so you saw way too many terrible films this year?
Yeah, there's also that. I gave this thing 2 stars, and unless you're getting a 1.5 or below, you're not making my bottom 10.
When you said limo talk show host... I'm back in. I'm going to see Cosmopolis now.
Yeah.
That's the moment you got me. I'm going to watch this movie.
Certain things made me sign up for that, so I'm
in
as well.
Go for it. Know. I mean, if you get something out of it, then good for you. But yeah, I just saw this as a mess myself. Yeah. But all right. So anybody have anything else they want to talk about before we go into news?
I want to quickly talk about... I would talk about Young Adult, but other Matt's not here, so I won't do that. That film has the best ending of all time ever, so watch that. Safety Not Guaranteed.
Who?
Who's seen
I
that?
have.
Is it just Kevin?
No, I've seen it. I've seen it.
I haven't.
That film is fucking terrible, right?
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I have problems with the movie. I'm not as in love with it as a lot of people, but I still think it's a fairly good film. Make your case. Go ahead.
Okay, it is everything I don't like about indie movies. It is empty flaws of apparently crazy characters. It is it's this aloof depressed girl who hasn't been able to find any satisfaction in her life, but she's also really pretty and really clever, and actually you don't see why you don't actually see her real flaws, you just see the consequences of these flaws that don't actually exist. You see her front, which is a front for nothing. It is a front for her perfection, it is a front for her artistic aloofiness, which is so much better than everyone else's, and then you have this crazy guy, and it tries to go into his craziness, and completely rejects that by the end. It's like, no, he's amazing. No, you can't just bring up the fact that he's a mental case and not dig into that character. They don't do it.
I'm totally on board with you on this so far, and I mean, I also had a huge problem with the fact that they suddenly go, "Are you falling for this guy?" It's like, why? There is no reason to fall for this guy.
And the bit in the middle with what is his name? Our bed. What fuck? I don't remember. When he goes out with some girls, and you know,
It's not Abed, so you're obviously just being racist.
I'm backing away from this.
No, what's his name? It was
Arnett.
it was fuck off. I'm not being racist. I misheard it. His name's. I looked it up. His name's Arno. It's pretty. It's
No.
Oh, I heard Abed.
Abed's the guy for
Yes.
Community.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay.
That's why we're saying you're racist.
I don't-
It's not that you're making up
I
a
don't-
name. You're mistaking one Indian guy for another.
I got it confused. I don't watch Community. I just recognise.
I know.
They've
It's
got
okay.
nearly the same.
Yeah, that's true.
No, but there's that bit in the middle with the implication of how that guy needed to lose his hang-ups about life to live more was it was horrible because that guy was fine how he was. No one learned anything in a bad way. Man, I did not like that film at all.
I still
Why
think
do
it
you like
has
it so much?
the best unexpected cameo in a movie I saw last year, though.
Who was the unexpected cameo?
Kristen Bell.
Oh shit, you're right. Yes. Why do you like
Aaron,
the film?
let's talk about Flight.
Oh yeah, shit. I saw Flight too. You're not going to step up and defend Safety Not Guaranteed?
It's a good film.
You
not
have
great,
to,
but it's a good
fight
film.
back.
It's, you know what? I do enjoy it because I do think it's charming. I really like the guy in there, whatever his name is. The guy who was trying to hook up with his old flame. I really dug that.
The guy that's on New Girl.
Yeah,
Right?
I really dug that. And honestly, you know, there's a lot there that I see that I like them beginning on, and it doesn't really go through. There's a lot of promise there that I don't think really works out, but there's at least, you know, the start of it, and I'm gotta give them credit for that.
If there's one thing if there's a negative about the film, it's the ending, which I
Yeah.
feel like it sort of backs away. It backs into a corner where either choice that couldn't have been there, it wouldn't have been unsatisfying regardless.
Yeah. I think one of the main reasons why I like this film so much is simply because I saw it right after seeing Sound of My Voice, another indie film about time travel, and fuck that movie, man. I am so mad at that, man.
Oh, Sound of My Voice was the one you hated.
Yeah,
Okay.
man. I was just disappointed with it, but then the more I thought about it, the more I was like, I can't. I gotta just say, fuck this film. This is, man, I do not like it.
It's 2013.
The movie police are coming for
more
me.
Sirens.
The movie police. That is Matt coming across. That is Matt coming in to try and tell me about how great Cosmopolis and Sound of My Voice are. Anyway, we will try and avoid both those whenever Matt is on the show. Anywho, so yeah, you want to talk about Flight? Flight's
Yes.
good. It's good.
Flight's that 15-minute crash sequence is probably one of the best scenes I've seen all year.
What's better, that or the crash sequence in The Gray?
Flight.
Flight.
Because The Gray is just like claustrophobic. It's just like focusing on Liam Neeson in the crash. This is basically you're seeing the entire cabin and the pilot's nest of what's happening during the crash. And it just seemed like, even though Denzel Washington is drunk and he's high off of cocaine, and he's just in it, in that moment, and he is so calm. He is so cool in that moment.
Yeah.
He can tell the flight attendant to say goodbye to her son on the black box.
That's
how
so
confident
good.
he is.
And also,
And
you know,
that's
I gotta say, you know, I don't really think this film should be nominated for any awards except for
It should be
Denzel for
Best
Best
Actor.
Actor. I gotta give it to
Best
that.
Actor. Well, actually, maybe some technical stuff for
Technical
sound.
stuff, yeah. You know what? Yeah, I never think about the technical stuff, but you're right. There is that too.
Yeah, like that plane crash alone
It's pretty damn amazing.
sound effects.
Yeah.
Like
Guys.
absolutely terrifying. Don't
Guys.
see that movie on a plane. I hope they don't show it.
Do you guys think
Yeah.
Robert Zemeckis is going to make more live-action movies now, or is he going to?
Yeah.
I think after
Motion
I think
capture.
after Mars Needs Moms, I don't think he's allowed back near mocap balls ever again. So
Oh God, he did that movie.
yeah.
He only produced it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
It was directed by I think H.G. Wells' great grandson.
Oh.
He also directed The Time Machine.
Yeah,
Back
I know
years.
that. Yeah. All right. Well, how about we head into some news, everybody?
Okay.
Okay, good. I need approval
And
on
what's-
it in case anybody wanted to talk about anything else, but okay. Let's see. I've got a couple of news stories here. The first being that Guillermo del Toro has turned down Star Wars Episode 7.
Maybe we should take a break for a second
Why?
to get Mike in here.
We're
Get Mike in.
going to bring Mike. This is going to be a very short news segment because there's no trailer talk.
Yeah,
So,
there's
I mean, yeah,
nothing
it's going to
happened.
be real short, and then we'll just go into it.
Everyone went home for Christmas.
You guys don't want to talk about The Last Exorcism 2? Come on.
That trailer just came out now. Does anyone want to watch it and have commentary while we watch it?
No.
No!
Okay.
No, I don't.
Then we're not doing that. We're doing the news. Guillermo del Toro has turned down Star Wars Episode 7.
Good. Well, yeah, he'd have
Not
done a good one,
surprising.
but
Good.
His
He
slate
made
already is
Justice
just
League
Yeah,
ridiculous.
honestly, to me, this is surprising because I just seeing this words Guillermo del Toro turns down is surprising to me. This dude grabs a hold of everything that comes on his desk, and then of course after
He's
like
been-
15 minutes he goes, "Oh, I can't do it anymore." He's like a kid who wants to play with all the toys, but then realizes he only has two hands.
I think he's been fucked over in a bit of a bad way in a lot of his choices. The way the MGM deal fucked up everything with The Hobbit, and there's a lot of other stuff going wrong. I think he just wants to get on and do the films he wants
Yeah.
to do because he doesn't really need the big block. He doesn't need the Blade anymore to fund his whatever it is, Pan's Labyrinth. He can fund his Pan's Labyrinth
Yeah,
himself now.
that's true.
And he'd rather make that than Star
Yeah,
Wars.
it
And
just kind of ticks me
he's
off.
still committed to making At the Mountain of Madness. He said that recently.
Oh, he is. Oh, I thought they dropped that off. Okay, well that's good.
He says he's going to try another shot at it.
Okay, that's good. But yeah, to me, it's just I just want someone good to take on the Star Wars movies because every single good director who comes across, they all just go, "Well, I don't want to be the guy who does it." It's like someone fucking has to step up.
I know that
They should.
Joe Johnston seems like he could do it, but he's done Star Wars before. Like he was working in the art department for those early Star Wars movies. He's the one responsible basically for Boba Fett's armor. He made that.
Huh.
I like this guy then.
No, they should give it to someone new. Give that film to someone new. That film is such on autopilot anyway that just because whoever gets the Star Wars 7 gig is set. Give it to someone new and worthy.
Well, they
and
have been talking
launch 'em
about
off.
the safety not guaranteed director doing next Star Wars movie. So
Are you shaming?
Yeah, get him. Yeah, it's true. It's just been like a whole bunch of rumors.
So, well, he does understand how to direct empty characters, so he'd fit in really well in a Star Wars
He
movie.
could direct the crap out of some CG characters. All right.
Actually, that's a bit unfair on Star Wars. Tomorrow, I am watching all 6 Star Wars movies in a row and re-evaluating my view on them.
Wait,
so-
wait. Nerd second here. Are you watching them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 6?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because I want to finish on the better ones.
Oh.
I want to finish on the better ones. Why would I want to? Why would I want to watch fucking Phantom Menace after I've seen the ones that you like?
Phantom Menace is a good movie.
No, I know, but
We need to have a whole new show, just film court. Just somebody puts on trial a film and someone has to defend it.
Oh, let me write that shit down. Film court.
Bum, bum, bum.
Aaron,
Yes.
how hype would you be if he did a Justice League Dark movie though?
Guillermo del Toro?
Yeah, because apparently he's
Yeah,
talking
he's
to
also in
people.
talks to do a Justice League, like a dark DC heroes together, which in the comics is currently called Justice League Dark, because they're trying to do their whole Avengers thing, where they brand the Avengers on everything. Which, by the way, both companies, stop fucking doing that! Anywho,
I like the comics, so I'd be down with that.
you know what, people keep telling me that Justice League Dark is a good book, but honestly, I'm so tired of both main companies at the moment. I mean, after what DC was pissing me off with the New 52, and now after what Marvel has done with Spider-Man, I don't really... I gotta take a break from both major companies at the moment. Aside from the Hawkeye book is so fucking good. Anyway, I don't know, because that's one of those weird things where, yeah, Guillermo del Toro doesn't direct bad things. DC also doesn't make good movies. So it's one of those weird immovable object meets unstoppable force things. Who's gonna win? I don't know. Anywho, by the way, I'm not counting the Christopher Nolan films because they're their own separate thing. Alright, I had to put that fire out before it began. Let's see, the next news story I wanted to talk about is that we all know The Muppets 2 is being made, and Tina Fey is now in talks to be the lead human buddy in the movie.
Wait, I thought it was Ricky Gervais.
Ricky Gervais is going to be in there, but he's not the lead character. Tina Fey is the lead. Ricky Gervais will be like the supporting character.
That could be
okay.
funny.
That's way better than Ricky Gervais.
Yeah, and honestly, I trust Tina Fey really well with this franchise. Tina Fey's sense of humor that I've seen on 30 Rock tends to match what I can watch her and tell she grew up watching The Muppets.
The Muppets needs more Star Wars references.
They did a
Star
whole...
Wars
Well, then
needs
Muppets
more
needs
Muppet
to be directed
references.
by Kevin Smith, obviously.
No, Star Wars just needs more puppets.
I can agree with that.
yeah, that would be fun.
Get those Farscape guys to work on it. I'll be down with it.
Star Wars needs to be directed by Kevin Smith.
No.
Oh,
even
come
joke
on!
about
Wouldn't
that.
that
Just have the
wouldn't that be
do it. He
amazing?
would never do it.
Just have the slacker
no, I know,
kids
but-
of the other guys talk about how cool their dad's adventures were, and then they just flash back to them constantly throughout it.
Oh, it would be so great. It'd just be like...
It would just be
Okay,
the
hey,
clerk
what's
scene
up?
talking about the Death Star. That would be the Star Wars movie.
Just have two.
It would be that in
Death
motion.
No, it'd be two random stormtroopers with their helmets off, smoking death sticks or whatever those things were from Episode 2, in front of a.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, just talking about how great the old Republic used to be. Anyway,
The only time Star Wars will ever have a drug dealer. Attack of the Clones.
I kind of like that moment, yeah, but yeah.
It's a good Obi-Wan moment.
It is a good Obi-Wan moment. That's what I like about it, yeah.
You want to go home and rethink your life. I'm gonna go home and rethink
my life. That's very good. The last news story I had is that the 2013 Razzie nominations have been announced.
And they're terrible.
Yeah, and here's the thing. The Razzies are actually worse than the Golden Globes, the Oscars, and the Emmys when it comes to their nominations. Because you can just look at their nominations and automatically tell that they had that list pre-made before they even saw any of these movies. I would be willing to bet they don't even watch some of the movies that they nominate.
Well, how could they watch
Really?
Oogie Loves in the Big Balloon Adventure?
Yeah,
No one saw that movie.
yeah. I mean, and also, Oogie Loves is solely for preschoolers.
Wait. Tell me about what is Oogie? Oogie? Is it Oogie?
Oogie Loves.
Tell me about
Oogie
it.
Loves.
I've never heard of this.
Oogie Loves in the Big Balloon Adventure
Sell me.
was a movie made solely for preschoolers and was made by the Teletubbies guy. And it broke a record in 2012 for being the movie with the lowest box office income for a wide release film. And
Really?
And that's what got.
Did it beat Terra?
Yeah.
Wow.
Be what?
It beat out everything. It beat everything for widest release, lowest box office with over a certain number of theaters. I can't remember how many theaters.
Oh.
But I mean, it was like
Too
gone.
bad. That's not a good record to have.
Yeah,
I feel
exactly.
bad for those
But I
people.
mean, this is the thing, is that they nominated Oogie Loves. The only reason it's getting the nomination is because it broke that record. And it is a film made for preschoolers. That's the thing. I'm sorry if you have a film for preschoolers and it's not just them going, hey kids, racism is good, or something, or some fucked up message like that. Which the whole movie is nothing but the Oogie Loves basically going, hey kids, get up and dance, exercise. How the fuck are you going to give that a worst of the year picture? It's like, it's made for fucking preschoolers, and it's not made for you, you fucking moron. What kind of an asshole are you walking into Oogie Loves and going, oh, it wants me to get up and dance at this point. That's so fucking lame. It's because you're not two, you idiot.
The only movies
I
I dance
can't-
in are Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
End of discussion.
I disagree with the whole concept of the way that they choose their bad movies is a bad way of choosing bad movies, because I don't think terrible movies are the worst ones. The worst ones are the ones that had potential at some point down the line. the 5th fucking Twilight film can't be the worst one, because there were 4 ones before that just
and
as
also,
bad.
well, that's the thing. All the critics have pretty much
haven't
come out
every
with an
single
agreement.
Twilight movie been nominated?
Yeah, everyone has been nominated, but none have gotten as many nominations as this one. And this is the thing about this movie. This is the one that all the critics kind of came out in unison and went, yeah, it's still not good, but it's easily the best of them. And there are a lot of people actually going, it's kind of fun. So, I mean, don't get me wrong, I haven't seen it. I'm solely saying this is what the other critics have said. But, I mean, you can tell that the Razzie guys did not go there on opening weekend and go, oh, well, let's go into this with an open mind. They clearly went, yeah, that's going to be on our worst of list. We'll wait until we get a screener for it or something.
Well, maybe they did. Maybe their Bad Movie Tuesday is Bad Movie every day.
Well, yeah, but, I mean, trust me, man, I'm looking at this list, and I've seen a lot of the films on here. There's fucking worse movies.
I have not seen the
And
list.
the movies that make me the most angry and stuff are generally ones that people kind of like, but I really don't like. Like, those are the ones that get the biggest negative response from me, because I can't hate on... I can't hate on Dragon Ball Evolution because it's genius. Everyone hates
it's
it.
awesome.
So what...
It's such a
So
great
why-
fusion movie.
Oh, dude, Dragon Ball Evolution is great.
Dragon Ball Evolution, movie of the decade. End of discussion.
A movie of the generation. Imagine if that film had come out without the cartoon, without any if you hadn't seen the cartoon, had no idea what the cartoon was. Just imagine that.
That would have been so weird.
Oh, dude, it would have been the weirdest
I think
thing.
it's the prior knowledge of knowing Dragon Ball Z and all that stuff and what it's about that makes and accepting
Some of
that it can't be a good movie, and then realizing that anything that they would have made live action would have been terrible anyway, and enjoying it that way.
I think Yamcha, no matter what perspective you have, Yamcha plays whatever.
It's so weird. He just shows up in the middle of the desert.
Why the
He's
fuck
like,
are you not
"Hey, what's
playing
going
the alarm at this moment? Who plays the alarm on
I
the
want to
alarm
talk about
guy?
Dragon Ball Evolution.
Because Dragon Ball Evolution is genius. It is not alarm worthy. It is.
Yeah, well, we're
fucking
talking
a
about the Razzie
masterpiece.
nominations at the moment, so cool your jest. But, yeah, just going over this list, I'm just going to point out, worst picture, Battleship, Oogie Loves and the Big Balloon Adventure, That's My Boy, 1,000 Words, Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 2. Twilight Breaking Dawn, it's on there solely because it's the Twilight movie. That's My Boy, listen, I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know quite how bad it is, but it's clear it's on there solely just because it's the Adam Sandler film this year. You look at some of these other movies, like, they nominated
they
Mila
also
Jovovich
nominated-
for Worst Actress in Resident Evil Retribution, which, don't get me wrong, I fucking hate Resident Evil Retribution, but when you go to Worst Supporting Actress, Michelle Rodriguez is not there for the same movie, because they just don't care, and guess what? Michelle Rodriguez, way worse in that movie than Mila Jovovich. You look at all these movies, and, like, there's one thing that I also hate. It shows that they just hate the person and not their performance. Because, like, Kirsten Stewart, they nominate her for both Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2 and Snow White and the Huntsman. Granted, I've not seen either of those movies.
She wasn't that good in Snow White and the Huntsman.
Don't get me wrong,
She's not good in anything, really.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying she's not good at anything, but the fact that they combine performances like this, it's just saying we just don't like Kirsten Stewart.
It's the same thing as like last year when they nominated Adam Sandler for both playing Jack and Jill.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, but you're defying rules there at that point. I mean, it's solely just just wanting to say we don't like this person. And I'm sorry, that's bullshit. You don't do that and then try and make yourself seem like you're an actual thing.
Yeah, as I know you watch a lot of terrible movies, and I watch some, and when I watch a terrible movie from someone who I don't like, I want it to be good. I want every single bad filmmaker to be redeemed. There is nothing that would make me happier than sitting down to watch a fucking Michael Bay movie and really enjoying it.
I would love to see After Earth being amazing and M. Night Shyamalan's career being redeemed.
Yeah.
Yeah, all those kind of things. That's what I want. I don't go into films wanting to hate them.
Yeah,
otherwise I wouldn't
that's the
watch
thing, is
them.
that if you...
No, I don't.
Nobody does.
I don't.
Nobody wants to put themselves through that. But, I mean, yeah, you mentioned After Earth. That's a very good point. If After Earth comes out and it is amazing, then I think people will say, oh, well, this was a great turnaround. If it comes out and it's just,
even if
it's okay.
good,
Yeah, if
I
it's
would
just
be
like,
happy 'cause
it's pretty decent,
road
it's
ahead.
still going to be on the Razzies 2013 list. Because it was the M. Night Shyamalan movie. Although, I will say one thing. They did nominate for Worst Screenplay Atlas Shrugged Part 2. Kudos to them on actually remembering that film came out. I'll give him props for that. But yeah, all right. So that was our news stories. We're gonna take a quick break, and then speaking of stuff from 2012, we're gonna get back with our main topic: what our thoughts were on 2012. Be back in a moment, guys.
This is a bad movie.
Yeah, a lot of bad movies.
Let's just talk about Dragon Ball Evolution.
Mistakes were made.
As soon as I got my new
references.
iPhone, I asked Siri what was the airspeed velocity of an unweighted swallow, and
And
she
she told
asked
you-
me whether it was a European or African swallow.
Did she
I know
not tell
happy
you
inside.
stop making Monty Python references?
No,
It's
she just asked me.
2014. Oh, okay. I would have liked it if they built in a passive-aggressive anti-coolness. I would like it if Siri was more passive-aggressive and superior to you. That would be better. I want that robot.
Like GLaDOS?
Yeah, basically.
Oh, GLaDOS
That
in my
would be
phone.
terrifying.
With the voice and everything?
Oh, please.
Oh, that'd be if you left your phone on when you were sleeping, and she's like, "I can see you sleeping there. I'm going to wake you up now."
Oh, this is the best.
No, I want the wheelie droid.
No, he'll
GLaDOS
just
is,
betray you if you have your alarm set on your iPhone. He'll betray you and turn it off.
GLaDOS is the iPhone. Wheelie is the droid. That's what it is. All right,
No, he's BlackBerry,
he's the BlackBerry. Yes.
the one no one cares about.
Okay, I
Isn't that
get
Windows
the
Phone?
feeling you're wanting to type things here now. There's
Actually,
no,
I
I
believe there's
changed
a
my mind.
keypad
He is
beneath me. Hi.
He is the Palm Pre.
What's the
I don't even know what the fuck that is. Why are we talking about this? Because we're already back. Hi, everybody. This is the Pupcast. We have the same cast joining us as last time, but we also are now joined by Mike.
Precious.
And somebody saw The Hobbit. And Michelle.
Who didn't see The Hobbit yet?
Yes, but we plan on it. Alright. In all of its 24 frames per second glory, as God intended.
What? Go to hell.
Oh, is somebody gonna step up and defend the 48 frames per second? Because I've
Yes.
seen what that looks like, and I got
Time for movie court!
That's the only reason I'd see that movie again.
Because I've got news for you. I've seen the 48 frames per second footage, and we hates it forever.
No, the
It's
problem.
actually it's the footage that was interpolated on in the trailer that they made is not as bad as the what you actually see in the movie. Like the 48 frames is actually interesting and it works actually really well with 3D, except when action's happening. Action just happens way too fast.
The biggest problem with 48 frames is because of the way it deals with your mind and the speed of the image. Is that now everything I see with my eyes, I can't tell if it's the right speed or not. It's ruined. It's ruined my eyes. The Hobbit ruined my ability to see.
So what
Thanks.
you're saying is that the 48 frames per second makes the 3D look really good, except in the moments when you want the 3D to work.
Pretty much.
See, I don't know. I disagree. I kind of really enjoyed the action parts. It was fast, like Kevin's saying, but...
Well, here's the thing. I saw it in 24 frames a second first. Then I went to go see it in 48. All the action sequences and the moments where it's like physical humor, so specifically during the dinner scene with the dwarves,
Right.
people were laughing way more during that sequence in 24 frames a second than in 48 because I think those jokes happen way too quick and people can't catch up because it's still this growing pain that people have to adjust to 48 frames. So a lot of those scenes just aren't as funny at 48 frames a second as it was in 24. And to make those, like, make comedy scenes work and action scenes, movies have to be directed differently.
I disagree. I think the timing works better in 24. I think the timing was too fast. The jokes felt like they were waiting too long in the 48 frame. And the problem with 48 frames is it might look better than standard 3D, but just seeing it in normal 2D it doesn't make the movie experience better. You can be impressed technically, but just see the goddamn movie normally, and then you won't have to think about it, and you can just watch it.
Yeah.
I will say this: when I saw it in 24 frames second, as all the Defiler, because I think he's purely CG, he looked completely fake. But when I saw in 48 frames second, he seemed more plausible. It was a better blend between like CG and everything else.
That's just because everything looks more.
Yeah,
fake.
I was about to say it's because everything looks CG in 48 frames per second. Everything looks like a video game cutscene to me.
Yeah, like the when they're showing the Battle of Moria, like in a flashback, it felt like a cutscene that was made by Blizzard.
That's not,
Which is sort of a backhanded compliment,
movie.
but
I kind of
it's sort of a backhanded compliment both Blizzard stuff is absolutely gorgeous and stunning and amazing. So
Yeah. Well, we're here today to talk about just taking a look back at 2012. You know, the year's over with. We've had, a week to sit around, think about it. I've had 10 minutes before this podcast began for me to go, oh shit, I have to look stuff up. So we've got things to talk about. But before we go into the movies, anybody just have any positive memories that they have of 2012? Anything that they particularly fondly look back on?
The Walking Dead.
yeah, Walking Dead getting its mojo back, awesome.
That was good to remember.
2012 was a very weird year for Screened.
Oh yeah, that thing happened.
That all happened. Everything went crazy, and then we started to exist.
Yes!
We found our voices, literally.
Everything was erased, and then we came into light.
That's putting a...
That's just gross. That's too graphic. I don't want to.
That's too graphic, and that's not giving enough credit to Stacey. Who...
No, Stacey has been doing a kick-ass job.
Yeah.
I want everybody to realize that. That Stacey...
I started out not totally sold, but you know what? Pretty good.
The biggest problem with the stuff on the site's fine. The biggest problem is just there's just not very many people who left on principle, even though you didn't actually need to go away.
Yeah, that's the real shame of that thing is that, just seeing all the people who just kind of just up and left just because, and don't get me wrong, yeah, I miss the videos too. I totally miss the videos. In fact, I got some editing equipment. I'm gonna try and shoot a bestie sometime soon. But you know what, guys?
Should happen.
Hey, we missed the podcast too. Look at what we did, you assholes. We created one.
And also, it's like when people look at it and they're like, "Oh, Screen is so dead." It's like, yeah, that's because everyone else went, "Oh, Screen is so dead."
So
now.
dead.
Right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like Screen was a community thing. If the community leaves, you realize this is on you, you idiots. Yeah. So,
and there are still
We
good
might
people.
be insulting our fan base.
We're not. No, because the people who
no, because our fan base are the ones who stayed.
No, I know.
Our fan base are the ones who go, yes, fuck those people who left. Like, I remember there was some guy who made an entire forum post just so that he could go, yeah, I'm leaving now and I'm not coming back. And then I made a forum post about someone else just, hey, what would a Screen Pup's rating system be? And then he came back and went, this is the dumbest idea ever. And I was like, didn't you say you were leaving forever? Why are you here, asshole?
What are people doing?
I only came back to insult people who are still here.
That's like...
What kind of person do you have to be on the internet to make an exit speech from a website?
I think you have to be a person on the internet and nowhere else.
You're the people Aaron
leaving
Sorkin
these
hates.
Yeah, I think you have to be one of those people who, only exist on the internet because the real world can't take you. The real world is not accompanying to your level of asshole. In the real world, someone can actually look at you and go, what a fucking asshole, right, to your face. Here, it's not to your face, and you can feel superior to the people who are calling you an asshole. Well, I'm here, not in face, but in voice to go, you're a fucking asshole.
But if you're listening, you're
Behind
not.
my screen.
Yeah,
That was a good thing to end it on, because that was creepy as hell.
Yeah.
And my nightmares are just starting. Thanks.
Wait, what?
My nightmares are
Nightmares
just
are just
starting.
starting.
With that.
Oh.
I couldn't make out what you said, and I was like, that sounded like the name of a hockey team. Is that
Yeah, you should be like happy hockey is back.
Hockey never left.
No, I won't
No,
even
hockey
watch
just
hockey this year.
remains dormant and then wakes up every now and then.
It's like
I don't even
oh
wanna
shit,
talk
what are the
about
things
the
in Beast
NHL.
of the Southern Wild?
Oh, those giant pig things.
Yeah, it's like the giant pig things in Beast of the Southern Wild. Would have been a lot better joke if I knew the name of them. All right, but yeah, best memories of 2012, hands down, IKEA monkey. I'm
What?
throwing that out there. IKEA monkey.
Wasn't IKEA monkey?
Oh, you didn't hear about IKEA monkey?
No.
Random monkey in Sweden just got loosened in IKEA.
No, it was in Toronto.
Oh, it was in Toronto.
Yeah.
Oh, right,
IKEA
yeah.
monkey in a jacket, part of my family. That's the headline. That's all I need. That's great. I'm sold.
IKEA monkey is my spirit animal. He's the metaphor for all life. He's, we're
Didn't
all just monkeys in suits walking around in IKEA looking for the exit. It's like life,
didn't
really.
Snoop Dogg become IKEA monkey?
Snoop Dogg become IKEA monkey?
No, he became Snoop Lion. But
Yeah.
Oh, Snoop Lion, yeah.
I was.
Oh, no, I get what you're saying.
He'll change his name every single time Apple upgrades his software.
Oh, nice.
Oh, is that what the deal was?
I shake your hand. Sir.
No, that's my joke.
Yeah, that was good.
Snoop Snow Lions, Snoop Links.
Snoop Link and The Legend of Zelda.
No, it's Apple
Snoop-
need to have.
No,
Apple,
Snoop Dragon.
Apple just needs to make Snoop its next software update.
No, Apple
its next
OS X.
operating system.
Apple OS X G dog with 2 G's. Needs to be that. Apple OS X dog.
But
I'd
if
buy
it
that.
was named Snoop, it would have to ask if its hair was good first.
Yeah.
I don't get that one, but okay.
Go watch
Alright,
The
so-
Wire.
Alright, fine. I'll watch The Wire. You can
You
convince
really
me.
should watch The Wire.
I want to, but
Why
I
are we
can't
being so
fucking
offensive
find it.
about this?
I don't know. Anyway, IKEA Monkey, Grumpy Cat, the 2012 election. Those are all my memories from last year. But I also have some memories about movies. Anybody, how would you guys grade 2012 as a year as far as just entertainment, as far as television and movies go?
Pretty good.
I would say, yeah, we are really in, the 90s were such a dead period for film, and the 2000s were really just like it starting to get its speed back up. This decade so far to me has been a great, phoenix arising of entertainment.
A large amount of that is just the Avengers happened, but god damn do I feel good about
Well, let's go into that. The Avengers, you can't deny, this is a thing that was next to impossible to do.
it's not even that. It's more that film has the same final act as Transformers 3. It has all the things that you think should make Transformers 3 awesome, and they actually work. It's got all the destruction, all the spectacle, but it's not shit. It proves that spectacle is not bad, it's just everything around it is bad. And we can have really smart, blockbuster, crazy movies.
That is one of
It,
the only
it
times
didn't
in
have
which
McDreamy.
That is one of the only times in which I actually would look at reviews for a film and look at the negative reviews and actually get offended. Because almost all the negative reviews were, oh, this is just Transformers. If you look up the negative reviews, it was all just, oh, this is just Transformers. Like, if you think this is Transformers, I'm sorry, you don't have a soul. Because that means that you look at one explosion and at another explosion and think they're the exact same goddamn thing.
It was misunderstanding what makes terrible blockbusters terrible, and misunderstanding why the Avengers should be so important if the right lessons are learned.
Yeah, and I was watching that movie again recently, and goddamn, that has such a good script. Like, I didn't even really, I thought it had a
Fucking
clever
amazing
script.
script.
It's actually got a legitimately good script.
It's got an amazing script that everything that happens is that middle section is one of the best structured in film. The way it just 30 minutes of dialogue, and then that fight scene on the helicarrier where everything is interwoven but never focuses on one too much. It's great. It's so good. Oh.
Yeah, it really is. And I mean, there's so many bits of dialogue that come back that you would not think about. I mean, there's I was watching it, and there was that moment in which Tony was talking to Bruce about, well, when your time comes, you'll suit up. And he goes, no, I don't get a suit. I'm out there. I'm exposed like a nerve. And then there comes that moment when Bruce shows up during all the madness, and he says, yeah, Tony, Bruce is here. And he goes, well, tell him to suit up. And I was like, fuck yes! I love that. I didn't even notice that the first time that I listened to it. Or, the fact that when Thor and Loki are about to face off, they say the exact same things to each other that Odin and the King of the Frost Giants say to each other before their big battle. I love that, Josh Whedon put that much work into this movie.
I'll be devil's advocate. I'll be devil's advocate here and say there's quite a lot of conveniences in the Avengers
Yes.
as well.
I think
It's a movie.
the biggest problem in that film is the fact that Selvig just happened to build in a failsafe. That is the biggest problem with that movie, straight up.
Is that who just had a selfie?
The way they shut the portal, the way he's like, no, actually, I built an off button to this thing. You can just shut it off if you put the thing in the thing. I think.
Well, I think with that moment, he does say, I think I was aware of it because I built this. I was like, you know what? In Thor, they built him up to be such a good character. So that in this, to say that no, underneath this brainwashing, there was still that good character.
But
I was
the
like, you know
way-
what? I can deal
But
with
for
that.
example, the way they earn everything about the Hulk payoff in that thing, that is the one bit that isn't so well developed. The way they actually beat the villain, it could have been more character focused. It could have been a bet like the thing with the nuke is excellently done and well done. It's literally that one bit where it was just a convenient thing that.
Well, now, I don't really think it's a big convenience because, you know what, and normally, this is something that I hate. Like, you know, normally in which they have the big villain who just gets beat like that, that is something that I always get bugged by. That's like, you know, that's why 13 Assassins didn't make my best of list last year. It's because that's, you know, he went down like that and I was so pissed off about it. In this film, they spend the entire movie of Loki going, yes, I am a god and I'm so powerful, whereas it's Loki saying that. Whereas when it comes to the Hulk, it's everybody else going, you don't fuck with the Hulk. No, do not bring out the Hulk. You don't want to see what he does.
No, I agree.
And so when it gets to that point of it's like, oh, well, I'm the one who's so powerful. Oh, no, the Hulk's the one that was powerful. Okay, I'm fucked. I think, and
that
also,
was great.
if the joke doesn't work, then I think that you can easily say that. The joke is one of the funniest things in that movie. No one in my theater heard the Hulk say puny god. Because it's that
Neither,
good
no.
of a joke.
And I don't think I think it's funnier when Hulk punches Thor.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that's pretty good. That is also a fantastic joke.
Because it's just the perfect. Like, again, sorry to keep coming back to fucking Transformers and bad action movies, but you got to do it because those films have terrible comic relief, whereas this film has amazing comic relief, which never undersells the characters.
Yeah,
And-
I mean, the Hulk punching Thor there, it's like, oh yeah, he's still the Hulk. Remember that.
And he does it because he is the Hulk.
Yes.
No one but the Hulk would do that.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that is a movie in which you've got all this stuff in there, and yet still, if you ask anybody what are your 3 favorite moments from that movie, odds are they're all going to be Hulk-related, more than likely. Because he does kind of steal the show. But, I mean, I absolutely love that film. I'm going to talk about it a whole lot more during my top 10, but But the thing that I love the most about that film is that if you look at the direction in which, like, superhero films have gone, they have been getting darker and grittier because of Christopher Nolan's Batman film. Because people went, hey, everybody loves that, let's go in that direction. Let's go dark and gritty. And it's gotten to a point in which, I mean, you watched that trailer for the new Superman film. And, I mean, you've got Superman crying because he doesn't want to have these powers, and you've got his dad telling him maybe he should let everybody die. I'm sorry, that's not Superman. And so for this film to be the exact opposite of the Christopher Nolan Batman films and be so fucking good, I was so pleased because it is taking these kind of movies and pointing them in a different direction.
It's not like it isn't dark, though. It's a pretty dark movie in a lot of ways. The thing that's great about it is that it uses the darkness to earn its final, like, fuck yeah moments. It uses every bit of darkness, then comes back as a payoff in the end. It's not like dark for the sake of it or happy for the sake of it.
Well,
It's all there for
I'm
a
not
reason.
saying that it is. I'm just saying that so many other people went, hey, it's dark. Well, let's make all of our other stuff dark.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
the thing is, it's Batman, so the darkness works with him. And,
Yeah.
and you can't really. It's like,
But I mean, when you look at Superman film, the Superman film should not be dark. But
No.
it's going to be. If you watch the Spider-Man film this year, I liked the Spider-Man film, but they were clearly trying to go a little bit darker with him because they thought that's what people want. And I mean, no, I'm sorry, and I'm glad that someone stepped up and went, these are superheroes. Remember that, guys. There's a guy with the American flag on his chest. Maybe we should have him act like, I don't know, heroes.
But the interesting thing is that have you all seen the deleted scenes?
Yes.
He wanted to make that darker movie. That alternate opening. It's a bad opening for that film.
Yeah.
And he didn't question himself, and he was like, no, it works better as a more rompy film. And imagine if you had seen the Avengers and the first thing that came on screen was a shot of disaster.
Yeah, it would have changed. It would have been a very different tone to start the movie off with, especially considering what is the rest of that movie.
how different would the entire summer have been? Because that film would not have been as good, straight up.
Yeah, and I want the studios to know the reason why people went back to see this film is not just because it was a good film. That was part of it, because it was such a good film. But it was a good film that had people walking out of the theater going, fuck yes. Mm-hmm. That made them want to go out. And, I mean, just look at the sales of shawarma after that. I mean, that is a movie that made people go, I want to feel this good again now. And if eating this thing that Tony Stark mentioned in there is going to make me feel that, I will eat this weird goat meat. I don't care. It's sheep meat, I know that. But anyway. But yeah, so yeah, Avengers, that was one of the biggest things of the year, I gotta say. But before that, going into this, speaking of Joss Whedon, to me, the first film of 2012 that to me just made me go, oh, this year's going to be interesting, was Cabin in the Woods. Mm-hmm. Because that was a film that, it had been under wraps for a long time. And it finally came out this year.
It got caught up in that whole MGM bankruptcy thing.
This to me was the first film I've seen in a long, long time that was made solely for the movie geek, I believe. And just went, hey, we appreciate you guys. This is for you. Yeah. And, it was done incredibly clever. And, Jackson, you've talked... You've talked endlessly about those two characters in there that were carried the whole film.
Dude! Man, those two. They're so good.
Yeah. And, I mean, it's one of those films that, like The Avengers, it gets to that point in which I'm like, man, I'm really enjoying this, but I was hoping for it to be a 5-star film to me, but it just hasn't given me that jaw-dropping scene. Then it gives me the jaw-dropping scene. I go, all right, that's it. You're a 5-star movie. And then it stops and goes, oh, no, that wasn't the jaw-dropping scene. The jaw-dropping scene is the next 20 minutes of the movie. Because that movie, I was actually sitting there going, how cool would it be if they did blank, blank, blank after showing us blank? But there's no way they're gonna do blank, blank, blank.
They do all the blanks.
They do blank, blank, blank in capital letters is what they do. Okay?
They fill in all the blanks.
They fill in those blanks, yes.
Any of you guys see The Raid Redemption?
Yeah, I did.
Speaking of movies where the villain just refuses to die. I rewatched that fight scene. Oh, I love that movie. Yeah.
Why?
I thoroughly enjoyed the movie.
Dude, I'm a huge fan of standing elbows in MMA, and that movie was just like elbows all the time. I was just like, yes.
To me, I enjoyed the movie because, in the beginning I was like, all right, this is fine, but I was hoping it'd be more of like a ride, more of just like insane craziness just going on. And
the beginning was the best bit.
Where she goes, grab the fridge, and and from that moment on, it was just nonstop.
It was just
craziness.
Like, nope.
And I like that.
That's where the film lost me. That's the exact moment it lost me. Because I thought that film had unbelievable tension in that first half before everyone started dying. It was nail biting. You were like, when he walked up the bathroom with the guy hiding behind the wall with the knife.
That was great.
Oh, amazing. And then it just was like 60 minutes of arms breaking and
Yeah, but I mean, it's like, dude, I'm not going to come in here and try and like defend and say, hey, man, there were great characters and development and story in this. No, there isn't. But I mean, you know what? I kind of every now and again just want a fucking flat hour of punch, fight, kick. That is kind of what every now and again. I mean, because this is not The Raid Redemption was not kung fu. It was not karate. Those things are made to make you feel, kung fu is all about self-discovery, and karate is about it's about self-discipline. Sorry, I've got cough lodged in my throat.
It's unacceptable, Aaron.
Aaron's going to be the first one of us to die in this zombie movie podcast.
Quite possibly. But yeah, it is not, it was not kung fu, it was not karate, because those are all about self-discovery and making you feel something. This was, I can't remember the type of...
Salat?
It was Pink-Hack Salat. Pink-Hack Salat doesn't give a shit if you feel good. It just gives a shit about whether or not the other guy is standing back up. And I enjoyed seeing just that craziness of it.
He does a reverse bulldog on a dude through a door that then impales him. That's
that
awesome.
was so fucking cool. But you know what? Speaking about other things that were early in the year, we have to start off with this big news story from this year, which is when Disney decided to just set fire to a bag of money and make John Carter. Did anyone see John Carter?
Not in theaters.
Yes.
No.
Oh, I know
I
that
saw it in
Matt,
theaters.
Matt thinks it's one of the best movies.
Matt says it's one of his top 10.
Because Matt's a crazy person.
Matt, dude, if me talking about Cosmopolis on this episode did not establish that Matt is a crazy person, John Carter being one of his top 10. But, I mean, don't get me
I can
wrong.
understand that.
Oh,
I can understand it being one of his top 10 was.
Oh.
I can respect the source material, but it wasn't that entertaining. Also, was marketed terribly.
The DVD.
God.
Oh, yeah, and that's what we need to talk about. We need to talk about the fact that this, every now and again, the industry, the executives, the studio heads come in and think they know best. And this was the greatest example of them not knowing what the hell they were doing. And that is why this is an important story. I mean,
Throwing more money at something doesn't make it more. It doesn't get into the people's mind of what is going to come out in the next few weeks. Throwing more money to put in for advertising doesn't raise public awareness.
Yeah,
Why?
I mean, it shows the weird superstition that studios have because they did not want to call this John Carter Warlords of Mars because they honestly believe anything with the word Mars in the title, thanks to Mars Needs Moms, would be
Well,
a
it
bomb.
drives women away.
They honestly believe that it was just the word Mars.
I remember seeing the original trailer for that, and I'm just like, oh, it's that John Carter of Mars movie. And then whenever I would see that on Twitter, I was just like, no, it's of Mars. And
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I know the story. I'm a sci-fi nerd. I know John Carter of Mars, but I mean, the moment that the title comes up and just said John Carter, I was like, is this about that guy from Transformers? I mean, not Transformers, Terminator. I mean, I honestly,
that would
for
have
a
been
second, I
very
was like,
interesting.
is this the same
That would have been a much better movie.
Terminator of Mars.
Terminator of Mars?
I'd watch that. I'll be back on Mars. Oh shit, it's Total Recall as well.
Oh shit! All of a sudden, Quaid just shows up.
My mind melts. I'm like, oh, they're all coming together.
The Transformer is thrown out there, and all of a sudden, his red eyes are about to explode.
What? Here's probably a more important question, just in general. Why are all movies ever marketed in exactly the same way? You got your teaser trailer, and you got your trailer, and you got your TV spots. You
forgot-
why?
I forgot the teaser for the teaser. Teaserception.
Yeah, but
Yeah, when the fuck did that happen? That happened this year. That's when that whole theme came about. That's fucking no one
it's
likes
the wrong. No, it's the wrong.
Because we have attention spans of gnats.
It's the wrong fucking trend. You don't do more and different bits of advertising. You do different advertising. You do say you have no fucking trailers, but you put a TV, like a 4-second TV spot after every single show, and then everyone's like, "Holy shit! Watch that quick logo that flashes up every 5 seconds. I need to find that out." What?
That's what made
It's crazy to me.
Cloverfield. That was what made Cloverfield so interesting. I was like, what the fuck is this?
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is that if you have a film that is kind of just a total mystery that nobody knows what it is, and you present it as a mystery, then yeah, there is...
What is The Matrix?
Yeah, exactly.
What is The Matrix?
Exactly. But, I mean, not every film is that.
No, I know, but when you have one that you don't know what to do with, that's essentially this big legend, old story, and the marketing's failing everywhere, isn't that a good time to experiment? Isn't that a time you try something new rather than just throwing money at something old?
Yeah.
No, because they already spent so much money on it that they didn't want to do anything too radical.
It became quite clear quite early on that nothing was going to help that was very standard.
There was that guy who cut together a trailer from all the stuff that they had released and basically made a better trailer.
Yeah, it was like a sizzle
yeah,
reel.
I was like, oh, I would see that movie.
It was somebody who worked on the movie.
Yeah. That fan trailer basically was like, oh, I'd see that movie, but it's a fan trailer, and I know this movie's going to be terrible.
Yeah.
Did you see the Amazing Spider-Man thing where they edited all the trailer footage together and it became a 45-minute movie?
Yeah.
Basically, every single bit of promotional material told the entire story.
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man also was an unnecessary movie for us. The story in that movie was unnecessary in the first place, so, yeah.
No, I agree, but it's just... why would you have it an ability for people to see piecemeal 45 minutes of your movie? Why? What does that achieve?
Yeah, it leaves out surprise, and honestly, there was a lot of a lack of surprise. I felt like I had seen a lot of The Amazing Spider-Man when I went to actually go and see it, and not just because I already knew the origin from the previous one, but because...
You know what I actually didn't think I'd seen enough of going into was The Dark Knight Rises.
I saw enough of that.
I felt that I felt like...
That was pretty ubiquitous,
I thought they did
think.
the right amount. They showed the right amount of... they showed the right amount of stuff for that movie.
I think if there's one movie that actually did do the whole trailer thing right, it was Looper.
I can agree with that. Sure. But yeah.
Because keeping that most important element a secret is what made that movie really special and really interesting when you saw it, because there was none of that in the trailer.
And then everyone went off on one at Looper for suddenly throwing in this thing out of left field that no one had heard about before, which is bullshit. So
yeah,
people, god damn it.
But yeah, let's keep going with what happened throughout the year. Next on the list that I had, this going from one movie that bombed to a movie that did incredibly well. The Hunger Games came out.
That
this
was
year.
a good surprise.
Yeah, and I mean there was something very important to talk about with The Hunger Games, because I believe that 2012 was actually a really great year for women. When it came to media.
Was the year of the bow.
Don't get me wrong. It's not like I look at 2012 and go, yes, women were the winners this year, and women definitely, this was the year in which it evened out. But this was the year in which I felt like Hollywood finally started to get it right. In which this will be the year in which we kind of look back at in a couple of years from now and go, this was the year in which women started to be more prevalent and more, in media, not as stereotypes, and actually be characters.
And then there's Twilight.
Well, actually, you say that, but everybody keeps telling me, "Oh no, in this one, Bella's actually a human being. In this one, Bella is actually a three-dimensional character."
But isn't she?
I think the thing that
It only
happened
took her several movies to figure it out.
What I heard about the final Twilight movie is that she's just suddenly wish fulfillment, better than every other vampire ever put together, the best thing in the world, kind of. So it's a different complaint to what it had been before.
Exactly, but yeah, with The Hunger Games, I mean, just thinking about the fact that The Hunger Games, when it came out, it was the third highest grossing movie of all time. Now it's the fifth, obviously, after Dark Knight Rises and Avengers. But when it came out, it was the third highest grossing opening weekend of all time.
Okay.
And it stars a female character who is not, I mean, she's a victim of society. She's not being kidnapped or anything. And also, she doesn't need a man to come save her. She's not a victim. She's not being tormented.
She
by
has
her
to
emotions.
save PETA.
Yeah, she's not being in a relationship in which she's tormented by, oh, but I love PETA so much. No, she's not.
Well,
that's the entire.
that's
There's a fucking full-on love triangle, and that's why it's so loved by the young adult audience. That is a big part of that franchise.
It is.
You get
but,
the
I mean,
blonde
that's one
kid,
of the
or you
few.
get Thor's brother. Your choice, Jennifer Lawrence.
The Hunger Games franchise has been spoiled to death by people to me now, so I know everything that happens. And it sounds like it's only going to get dumber.
I'm interested in the sequel because they got to do something to change the game for a sequel to that. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Then
The game is changed.
But yeah, it's But yeah, just looking at that to me is really positive. That this year we have a film with a strong female protagonist come out, and it just dominates at the box office. I mean, it had one of the longest streaks I can remember at the #1 spot. And I mean, just continuing to go along with female characters. This is the year that also gave us the HBO series Girls. It gave us The Legend of Korra, which goddamn,
I want to talk about that.
Yeah, we are going to talk about that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, what was the other thing? There was one other important thing that I wanted to speak about positive female characters in film this year. Shit, I'll get.
Was it Haywire? Was it Haywire?
Haywire's good, but it wasn't that. This was another flat out huge piece
No,
of
just
film
piss.
that
Brave.
just dominated.
To some
Can
extent.
Was it Brave?
Brave, that was it. Brave, yeah. Brave to me was the other really positive one. But yeah, let's go into Legend of Korra.
Wait, I want to do a quick counterpoint to the success of Hunger Games, which is it also basically spawned all the marketing for Revolution and a couple other shows, and you got to make the character good first. You can't just put a bow in their hands and expect us to be like, oh my god, she's like Katniss.
That was the other really weird theme. That was the.
It's the year of the bow.
Yeah, this is the year of archers. I just keep
Oh.
picturing some guy with like an archery field, and it's like, man, we're gonna have to close up shop unless something good happens. And then all of a sudden, next day he comes out and there's 1,000 kids dressed up as either Hawkeye, Mirda, or Katniss. They're wanting to use this facility.
And then
wanna
the
say-
Olympics.
And then the Olympics.
And all the kids in school wanted to take archery for gym.
Katniss
I wish
isn't
I
a
could have
good
taken
character.
archery for Jim.
Yeah,
me
I
too.
would have too. Would have beat dance class,
Straight
that's
up.
for sure.
Dance class.
Hey, I was actually pretty good at the waltz. I got 100% on that. I
told you.
committed
You weren't
to
just
it.
playing Dance Revolution.
No, you can't waltz on that. Come on. Though if you could, be pretty good.
But yeah, what were you about to say? But yeah, let's go into Legend of Korra, because
Okay, I'm gonna.
goddamn,
I got that show back in my life.
that show they're going to be starting the they've made a date for the, speaking of weird teasers, they made an announcement today that soon we will announce the official date of the second season of it. Which
Yay.
just announced the second season. Don't tell me you will soon announce the second season. But yeah, goddamn man, Legend of Korra, that to me may be the best American produced cartoon series I've ever seen.
There was, I'm a guy, so I don't really notice these things, but there's a moment in, I think it was episode 5 or 6. It's the one where everyone goes on a date, essentially.
Yeah.
But Balloon's just like, you're awesome, you're good, and it's not like because you're hot, you're sexy, and all this, but like, dude, you're the ultimate bro who happens to be a girl. You're cool.
Yeah. And once again, that's another thing. Is
Yeah,
that
I was just
it's,
like,
you know,
good on them.
is that is one of those things that Hollywood has not been able to figure out. Is that when they in the past usually used to write a female character, it would either be a female stereotype or it would just be a guy with breast. Here it was, yeah, she's a tomboy, but she's a legitimate tomboy. She is not she is not a guy who just happens to be is not a male written character who just happens to be female. It is a female character who is a tomboy. I mean, it's such a three-dimensional character, and she kicks all kinds of ass in it, but not in like a Terminator way, much in the way that Aang was kicking ass, except even more so because, like I said, she's a tomboy. But yeah, I think she is such a great character, and that entire series just blew me away. You have anything you want to say?
I just kind of felt like the relationship was rushed.
Oh yeah,
That-
That's
Right.
really like the only That's really the only downside I have to the show. Other than that, yeah, it's really fun. It's like, I think if it was given more than 13 episodes, if they would have given it more time
Exactly. It was
for
one
the
of those,
relationship to grow instead of just rushing it in. That's really
you can tell they did not expect this to be a more than one season. Like, they thought this would just be 13 episodes. And I just gotta say, that is an amazing 13 episodes. But yeah, I mean, the choreography and the animation in that is so gorgeous. And I mean, I love that they took all the stuff that we like from The Last Airbender, and they took stuff that was unique and different in that show, and just took it to a new level. Like, in this, all the firebenders know how to lightning bend. Metal bending is not limited to one person. It's, and seeing that city is such an amazing location, what they were able to build there. I mean, just the design that goes into it is so fantastic, and I love seeing that in the previous series. It was all these mixed, all these races, just individual. Now, all these people are living in this one city, and because of that, you can actually get things like, a firebender and an earthbender who are brothers.
Yeah, and they also just stepped up their game of like, hey, let's talk about social issues in the guise of fantasy.
Yeah.
Like,
exactly.
I kind of wish they'd gone more into like Amon's platform of quote unquote equality. But good
Yeah,
on them.
exactly.
Kids show talking about that sort of stuff. Cool.
Exactly, and that's, it's one
I'm
of those
actually
things.
impressed with how much they got away with a kids show. And I use the term kids show very lightly.
Yeah.
Well, like,
I mean, yeah, if it's on Nickelodeon, it's a good show because Nickelodeon rarely does those like Adventure Time kind of thing.
well, like the latest episode of Young Justice that just aired, the part where Black Beetle's just trying to bash Wonder Girl through the door.
That
was
dark.
I was like, oh wow.
Honestly,
I forgot how bad that was.
Yeah, honestly, that was one of those things in which I was like, oh damn, I thought this is why they had to take it off the air. I thought this is why they had to like at the last minute go, fuck, edit that out. But yes, alright, so yeah, moving away from Legend of Korra, let's see, we're going through this pretty fast. The Avengers was the next thing that I was going to talk about, but we already talked about it. So next thing that really after that I can think of was Dark Knight Rises.
I'm Gotham's Reckoning.
Yes.
Then you have my permission to die.
I was listening to something recently, and I can't remember what it was, but all I could hear was the Bane voice whenever I was listening to it. I can't remember what it was though.
I love that voice, by the way. I think it's awesome.
I like the voice as a voice on its own.
Yeah.
I think it's used terrible. Don't give that voice to a villain that gives fucking speeches about politics. Come on.
Yeah, it's. We went over this before in that 2-part episode, but just kind of reiterate, it's one of those things in which the movie is good, but it does drop. Jackson,
it's not as good as The Dark Knight.
It's not that it's not as good as The Dark Knight. It's that I think it's just so rushed that it's flawed. I mean, I think it's one of those films in which they came to Christopher Nolan and said, "Oh man, what are you gonna do for the third one?" And he went, "Wait, third one?"
Oh yeah, he was done. He was like, "No, I'm good."
It's like, dude, I put the Joker in the second one. What do you want from me? That is the end of it.
I don't know. I feel like had Heath Ledger not died, I feel like the Joker would have been revisited.
I believe he would have been, but it's if you can't. I believe that's kind of an excuse for like saying that they're dropping a lot of stuff. I believe.
He did finally prove that someone could make 3 good superhero movies in a row with the same character.
Yeah.
Good on him.
Jackson, your opinion has gone from, it's still a good movie, which is what it was when we recorded the episode, to just thinking it's a bad movie now. So.
Pretty much, basically, I think that movie has conned everyone. I think that rewatching it, the thing I was enjoying was the fact that, it's another Batman movie, yay! And then going back, I'm like, away from that, there's nothing. There's no tension. All the character, like the villain stuff from Dark Knight Rises is gone. It's the worst thing you could say. It's not terrible, and I guess it's a way better failure than having some kind of big corporate failure. But it's just not. It's not really worth hating on or praising, and that's the most damning thing you can say about it, because Christopher Nolan has made some of the best films of the last decade, multiple of them, and we shouldn't be accepting this as on the same level, because it's not.
No, I don't believe so. I do think that has too many flaws.
Right, I don't think anyone's trying to say that. This is on the same level as
I've seen a lot
The
of that.
Dark Knight or Inception. Because obviously those films are way above The Dark Knight Rises, but I still think that The Dark Knight Rises is still a damn fine film on its own, even with the flaws that it does have.
I've got a question for you guys. If Avengers had come out in July and Dark Knight Rises had come out May 3rd, how do you think that people would feel about both those? I mean, how do you think that their opinions would be shaped?
Would the shooting have happened either way?
Fuck, that's not what I was asking, man. What the hell?
I actually think that we have done a really good job of separating the events of that shooting from the actual movie.
Yeah, I remember I was reading one of the guys on screen's top 10 list, and he said, well, you can't bring up Dark Knight Rises without talking about the shooting. I was like, yes, you fucking can.
Which is the way it should be.
do it.
I think at first it did affect little things. I think now it's not. We don't think about it that much, but still.
I mean, are you talking about like the amount of money it made, or just the quality of film? Because honestly, I don't think it would have mattered.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the money it made. I'm talking about like how people feel about.
I think it's more of like how you felt
going
into the movie. Like when I went to go see it that day, I still had that moment of like I felt like incredibly sad before I went to go see that movie, and I did not feel that way before I went to go see the Avengers.
I remember when I went to see Dark Knight Rises, and I went to the theater, and there was a guy with a samurai sword sitting in front of me, and that would normally make me nervous. I was super nervous at this moment, so...
I think it would have colored the opinions on the Avengers a lot more, but I'm not sure how.
100%.
I think, like, the Avengers I don't think had much effect on the Dark Knight's perception, but I think if we saw a Dark Knight before the Avengers, it would have affected the Avengers more.
In a positive or negative way?
I think in a positive way for me.
Definitely, yeah, I'd say positive, because people would be like, okay, shut the book on Nolan, open up Hello, King of the Nerds, Joss Whedon.
Oh, I gotcha.
Also, because it's on a much lighter note than Dark Knight Rises, so it's not heavy. It's people are like more uplifted by it. So
Yeah, like I said, that is a movie that you leave going, fuck yes. I mean,
Yeah, Avengers you leave going fuck yes. Dark Knight Rises ends spitting in your face.
Spitting in your face.
I think that's
harsh.
I'm regardless of the
Jackson
quality
only
of the
has
movie.
one level, and it's harsh, man. We should know this by now.
No. I as I said, the rest of the movie is whatever. But the thing that they do with fucking Batman at the end is just
The fact that they
It's-
come out and
okay.
flat out show it. That is the problem I have.
Yeah.
Okay, I did have a problem with that. I feel like, he should have died, but the end...
Oh, no, I don't feel like he should have died. I just feel that it's like, oh, they're teasing that he might still be alive. Oh, there's all these hints that he could have survived, and then they just go, no, there's no hints. He's fucking alive. It's,
Yeah,
Hi,
that
hi
was-
Alfred. Hi. Want to sit at our table? We got a third seat up here.
But whether that affected you badly or not, the note that it leaves you on for the very final note isn't. Yeah, it's
Well, it's always been a more
the
contemplative
final note
type
to
of
me
movie.
is Joseph Gordon-Levitt being lifted up on that thing, and that to me is the oh fuck yes moment.
Yeah.
yes.
That
Right,
moment
and the
was my
implication-
jaw-dropping moment at that.
Are we?
Right, and the implications that could have, depending on how Man of Steel does on a Justice League movie.
He's already said no.
Who?
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah,
Oh,
he's
really?
apparently
Joseph
doing
Gordon-Levitt
Sin City
said no,
2.
and he said, "What the fuck is Star-Lord and Guardians of the Galaxy? Why are you attaching me to this?"
But hey, I'll do Sin City
Because
2.
That was Which what the fuck? But yeah, that was the big news that everybody kept going. Oh my gosh, Joseph Gordon-Levitt is going to be in this movie, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt came out and said, "What?" So, although Michael Rosenbaum did read for that role, and let me just say, Michael Rosenbaum, yes, he would be good in that.
That was
Anyway.
young Lex Luthor, right?
Yeah, young Lex
Okay.
Luthor. Which, yeah, if you watch Michael Rosenbaum in any comedy he's ever done, he always plays the guy who at some point goes, fucking idiots. And that's what you need for Star-Lord. Star-Lord is the guy who, in the field, is a great commander, but when he's not in the field, he looks around at his team of a drunken raccoon and a talking tree and goes, fucking idiots. That's who he...
Sorry.
But yeah, anyway, sorry. But yeah, moving on to the next thing I wanted to talk about, Battleship. You have to take, you gotta take the lows with the high, people. I already went on my rant about how I fucking, like, this to me isn't one of those, it's so bad, it's good. This film, it made me so mad.
Did anyone expect it to be good, though? Like,
No, but
before the
It-
Rihanna
it-
casting?
no. I expected it to be dumb in a way I could get behind. This is so stupid.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted Dragon Ball Evolution. I got just garbage.
That's what I was expecting. I was expecting it to be one of those movies that I was like, this is going to be bad, but I can at least get people together and do, like, our own riff tracks. So this movie, that riff tracks thing lasts for half an hour into it, and then after that, it's an hour and 40 fucking
It ends
minutes
when they start playing the
of-
Pink Panther song.
Oh, okay. That was the moment in which Michelle actually, you just went, oh, fuck this! Fuck this! Like, right there at the beginning. Like, I was getting scared. I've never seen you that mad. And I was like, it's at the Pink Panther song? Okay, alright, whatever.
I completely forgot that was even in there.
Yeah.
We
Next
still got,
movie.
wait, we still got the
Is that-
Ouija and the Monopoly and the probably some other Hungry
Shoots and
Hippos
ladders.
movie.
Ridley Scott was attached to Monopoly at some point.
If they made
Yes.
a Monopoly movie,
If you're gonna,
I think David Cronenberg already made his Monopoly movie. It was called Cosmopolis. I think that is his Monopoly movie.
except no one passed go.
Remember that time in which we passed that sign? It said go. There was money implied. I believe not $100. There was more, not less. I cut a hole in this $100 bill to show the one beneath it. That's how they fucking talk in the movie. All right.
So just one of them goes, "I'm a hat."
Are we going to talk about Game of Thrones Season 2 at all?
Okay,
You know, let's
I'm
go
buddying
into that
out.
now.
then.
Yeah, let's go into that. I've got a list of all the films, but not the TV
Well,
ones. So yeah, you
I
guys
thought we were
tell
just
me
kind
when
of
you want
going
to
in
stop.
chronological order.
I'm trying to.
Kinda.
Yeah, you guys stop me. Yeah, you guys stop me whenever it gets to the TV one. I've got all the movies here, but none of the TV. So yeah,
Alright,
we'll
so-
go with Game of Thrones now. No.
'Cause I don't have HBO.
Why?
I'm gonna mute. Yeah, I haven't seen it
All
yet.
right, we'll let you guys know when it's safe.
Okay. So, can I talk now?
You can go. Yeah.
The second season of Game of Thrones was kind of hard for me because I loved the first season a lot, and I'm not reading the books, I'm not reading the wikis, I'm not looking ahead. Although I did call what happened in the first season right after the first episode, but still, it just felt too disconnected to me, and apparently the second book is kind of bad. But then the Battle of Blackwater happened, and I was like, nah, okay, I'm good.
How do you think that the effects held up this year? Because it's
They
listen, I
look
haven't- yeah.
very TV-like. To me, like, the Battle of Blackwater, I was like, oh, clearly you're on the same 30 stretch of beach, but, they don't have the budget to do Helm's Deep. I give them a lot of credit.
All right, cool.
How awesome does Peter Dinklage continue to be?
Oh,
'Cause he's the only part of Game of Thrones that interests me at all.
Oh, yeah, he is great.
Yeah,
Continues
he's
to
one of
be
those
great.
guys who, for the longest time, I looked at him and I went, "This is the saddest thing I've ever seen." Because I could look at him and go, "He is such a talented actor," but because he was born as a little person, he's never going to get those roles that he deserves.
Have you seen his first movie?
Oh no, what was his
Living
first
in
movie?
Living in Oblivion.
Oh no, I haven't.
He turns up for 5 minutes as this director guy is on set, and he's like, "Okay, and then you come in, and you're having an apple because they're in the middle of a dream sequence." And then he's like, "Why does my character have to be a dwarf? Is that the only way people will know it's a dwarf because of the dream sequence? I don't even have dreams with dwarves in them." it's amazing.
That's awesome.
And that's the first thing he ever did. Man, Peter Dinklage is great.
Yeah, he is. He's so good. He's one of those guys who, in every role he's ever had, I've looked at him and went, "This guy deserves to be the leading man in so much stuff." But because he's a little person, I know that Hollywood won't give it to him. So the fact that Hollywood went, "No, we're going to give him a role. We're going to give him a role that he can win awards at and show what he can do." I applaud it so much. I'm so happy to see that.
Did the Knights of Badassdom ever come out?
The what?
Knights
I've
of
heard of it,
Badassdom.
but I've heard of it, but I've never actually seen it.
It's not come out yet.
Okay. Well, darn. It's got like Danny Pudi, him, the hot chick from Terminator series, the show, and other nerdy stuff. Yeah.
All right. Let's see. What's the next thing that we should talk about? Let's bring it back in our two guests. Come on back.
We still talk about TVs, or are you
Yeah.
going
What
straight
do you want to talk about TV?
anything?
Let's just go into the newsroom rant.
We've done the
that.
newsroom rant, and let me just say, listen,
It's
I'm
not-
not watching in the second season.
I-
I'm sorry.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, you are.
Don't
Damn it,
lie.
I am.
Don't
so
say
you
things
are too.
you.
The only reason I think that I might watch it is because you assholes keep peer pressuring my ass into this.
Don't lie. We know you enjoy tweeting about it.
I do enjoy tweeting about it. I'm not lying about that, but I mean, Jesus.
Only because it's your sweet release.
Yes! I can avoid that. It's kind of like, listen, when George Lucas said he was going to donate all his money to charity, there were a lot of people going, "Oh yeah, he's only donating to charity so he can get those sweet tax breaks." It's like, you know how he could have made more money than those tax breaks? Not donating the money in the first place. I could avoid that sweet release by not watching this in the first place.
You're still going to do it because you have watched bad movies specifically so you could choose the worst of them.
Exactly. I even had to I got to sit out several times because there's no way I wanted to watch some of the movies.
Yeah, I
It's
remember
just-
when we were going to watch 1,000 Words, and I went, "Do you want to watch this?" And you just, I mean, you were about to cry. You just went, "Don't make me."
Did you just look at him with disgust and be like, "Fuck off! I don't want to watch 1,000 words. You have known me for how long now? Why would I want to watch 1,000 words? I am a human being with soul and feelings and limited time on this earth.
You should be
I would not spend.
Aaron should be thankful that I sat down and watched Battleship with him. I think that was the last straw with me. Really.
I would have kicked the door open and like dragged you out here. It's like, no, I need to complain to someone about this. For anybody who missed my rant on Battleship, this is how mad it made me. It made me so mad that as I was complaining to Michelle about it, as we were going to get food afterwards, I started hiccuping because the stomach acid in my body was churning with so much anger it was about to come out.
That movie made him so mad he won't stop that story. He won't stop saying that story.
He said 1,000 words on 1,000 words.
No, listen, my views on 1,000 words might surprise folks, but... Because don't get me wrong, it's bad. It's definitely making my worst stuff list. There's worse stuff out there.
So worse than Atlas Shrugged Part 2?
Oh, shit. It's like neck and neck with it. I can't remember if it was beating it out or not. It did beat it out. I will say that. At the moment, it did beat it out. But just barely. It's like the spot above it at the moment.
And there are worse than this?
Yeah.
What else have you seen?
I've seen some shit.
Jesus Christ, you crazy person.
Well, yeah, did they fucking come back yet? Alright.
They just left.
I'm here.
Oh, Mike's
Alright.
Kevin,
Alright, so anyway.
Kevin,
next movie that I don't really want to talk about this because it was of no importance to anyone, but I forgot to mention, I also saw Chernobyl Diaries recently. That movie's bad, but it's not. I don't think it's as bad as everyone says. But I think I'm just cutting them some slack because they actually filmed this in the irradiated wastelands of Chernobyl. So I'm like, you're gonna get cancer in 5 years, so I'm not gonna talk too much smack about you.
Worse films have fucked with Chernobyl over the last years.
Yeah. But yeah, let's see.
Wait, so if we're going in chronological order, we completely skipped out on two big movies in January.
Yeah, go on.
The Devil Inside and The Grey.
And Chronicle. Or was that
Chronicle
February?
came out in April.
No, that was February or
February.
January. That was.
Yeah,
Was
that's
it?
February.
Okay, February.
But yeah.
But you
Okay.
got like one of the worst movies of the year and one of the best movies of the year in the first month of the year.
It started really high for Liam Neeson. Because it went Grey, Battleship, then Taken 2.
And like 4 seconds in Dark Knight Rises.
Oh yeah.
Right.
But yeah, it's The Grey.
Yeah, remember that?
At the moment, The Grey is currently fighting for my number 10 spot on my favorite films list. Because
What's
enjoyed it.
What's it fighting with? What's it fighting
It's
with?
fighting Les Mis at the moment.
Oh, it should be. That's a better movie than Les Mis.
Don't tell me what my opinions are.
I'm gonna watch Les
Fine.
Mis and I'll let you know. But The Grey isn't that good.
What? You're a fool. It's a fantastic film.
The wolves are dumb. The wolves are dumb. Straight up. They're bad. They're bad. The wolves are bad. The film is the best scene in that film is them crossing the bridge. The tension in that scene is unbelievable. Nothing else compares to that.
But it's not about the wolves. Just like The Walking Dead is not about the zombies, it's about the environment and how the people interact with it. That's kind of how The Grey is. But your wolves are the catalyst.
It's one of those
there,
things
I
in
guess.
which are the wolves a dream or are they not? Because to me, I was like, you could totally take this film as being that they are not a lot. Because this seems like a movie about death. But at the same time, you could totally take the movie to be a movie about these guys in hell, just dealing with their lives, and the wolves are the devils. Or it's purgatory, and it's, the wolves are coming to claim them.
Right. I mean, it's about, human survival. Like you said, it's about people questioning their spirituality. Is there a God? I think there's so many levels. I think it's honestly one of my best films of the year. I think it was my best film, until I saw another documentary, which, say what you will, I feel like that's probably going to be my top film
Hey
of the
man,
year.
you're talking to Doctor Documentary. I would never. It's totally cool for me if somebody put a documentary at their top.
Which documentary do you think it's going to be?
This Invisible War, or The Invisible War.
Was that this
It's
year?
about-
Yeah,
Yes,
2012.
it came out
Oh.
this year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's about the high prevalence of rape in the military. It was very well. I don't watch a lot of documentaries, but that was extremely well done, and just the level of varying emotions I had throughout the film and at the end of it was just unforgettable. Like
It's
you definitely need to see it.
I want to watch it, but I can't because I know me. I can't watch films about social injustice because it makes me just want to just go. I gotta do something. I can't.
Oh.
Yeah,
it definitely
there's an amazing documentary out right now that I really want to see. It sounds so great, called the Brooklyn Five. I can't do it because I know it's about 5 innocent men going to jail for their lives. I can't do it. I'm not that guy. I can't watch movies about social injustice. Like The Whistleblower is the closest I can get, and that's only because it was a film. It was a film about real things based on a real person. But it's like, the moment that becomes a documentary about social injustice, I can't do it. I know I can't. Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, The Devil Inside you want to talk about, too.
Yeah. And the saddest part about this is I would say a half to 2/3 way through the film, it had the potential to do something different and do something really unique with the horror, with the exorcism genre that I feel like has been lacking severely for a long time. And just that last third is just total shit, and it just spits it in its face. Like, I know you went on, Aaron, you went to lengths on it during one of our Halloween episodes, I believe. But it's just... And the blood splatter on the camera lens. I noticed that. It was so blatant. It's like, you don't even have to be paying that much attention. It's just like, zoom in, zoom out. Oh, it's gone.
Apparently, if you zoom in and zoom out enough on your camera, the blood stains on it go away.
Physics.
Yep, that seems right.
That's 48 frames per second. That's what it does. All right.
Was that the movie that ended with the URL to go see the real ending? Or is that
go
last
see the real ending on your computer online.
I went to that website. There's no video, nothing. It's just a bunch of links with information on the characters and stuff. It made me even angrier.
Which this is gonna be the weird thing, but this is the thing that turned it into just the biggest fuck you to me. This is because I was like, man, that was bad, but I wasn't angry at it until this. Until the ending credits. The ending credits is what made me go, oh, fuck this. Actually made me mad at the movie, because this movie, I didn't know how long it was, but then the ending credits start rolling, and it is the slowest ending credit scroll I have ever seen in my life. And then all of a sudden, I look it up. The movie is 82 minutes... sorry. The movie is 82 minutes long, which is about as short of a movie as I can imagine. 82 minutes long. And throughout the movie, there are all these, things in there of, just showing them setting up the camera, showing them finding a parking space, all these things that you should not have in your movie. There's no reason for it. And I was like, that's stupid that they're showing this. And then the moment that I saw the end credits and saw how slow they were scrolling, I was like, they only had a 60-minute movie here. And they are doing everything in their power to pad this out.
I think I was looking at the time left on by Netflix after I saw it. I think it was 9 minutes.
Yeah, it's long.
There aren't that many characters.
That was in The Usual Suspects when he turns around and he suddenly drops the coffee cup. The moment I saw the ending credits, all those bullshit scenes that they did not need to have, someone was like, it's padding. They had no story at all.
Yeah. It very frustrating. I feel had, like I said, the last third of that film been different, I think it could have been a completely different turnout instead of, go to this URL that doesn't
have anything.
Yeah.
Which, and next up, Kevin, Kevin's not here. Jackson, you wanted to talk about Chronicle.
I want to talk about Devil Inside quickly first, in that wouldn't not a film, probably a TV, it's probably way better on TV than making you go to pay to see it, but a 60-minute TV episode that didn't really resolve anything, but kind of left the URL and kicked off this big viral fucking investigation with the entire internet. Wouldn't that be kind of cool if done right? if they could pull it off and end it in such a way where you actually all came together and then investigated
If
it
you
and
still made the movie itself, because this is a movie that, this is the thing about the found footage film. So many people say that found footage always just ends, which, don't get me wrong, there's legitimacy to that because, the footage has to be found. That's the entire point of it.
But what if they went the entire way with it and like this? So the thing ended, it wasn't kind of resolved, and then there was this URL, and then you find like tapes in bins in cities that were kind of like you have to find USB sticks and then
totally
put them together, and they do it. Yeah, basically, if they use it to kick off a giant energy about finding more footage,
film into found footage promotion.
Yeah,
I think
you have to find.
Do that with.
You have to find the footage yourself. How great would that be? Oh.
I thought they did that with some movie or some TV show years ago. I thought they did something like that where at the end credits or something they said, "Oh, go to this website," and like you got to follow.
There have been things kind of like that, but like I think what Jackson's talking about is if all of a sudden like
on
they
a crazy level
went into some video store and went, "Hey man, we're gonna give you $10,000 if your video store just puts this on the shelf," and that's
basically.
And it's like no explanation. It's just a totally black case. That's it. And it's like, it's like don't get me wrong. I think that stuff could be cool. Plus, it reminds me kind of like the promotions that they were doing for Dark Knight Rises going into it, in which they would have like a fake YouTube account that would be in no way tied to the Dark Knight Rises, but they would put up there like video footage, and it would be blurry video footage, like it was handheld camera shooting a television screen of some reporter saying Arkham Asylum is on fire, or it was just video footage of a car driving, and you would hear that Matalo, Matalo, or that chanting that they did, which I can't remember how the chanting actually goes, but it was like, and this was like a year before the movie came out, and there was no explanation for it. There would just suddenly be this YouTube account that nobody would know who it belonged to, and it would just be video footage of people driving through Gotham City and hearing that chanting. It's stuff like that, but
that could go wrong though, and you'd get that Walking Dead fake trailer. Trailer is a trailer thing. I was just like, wow, this really can't be real because no marketing people would put that out. It's too terrible. Oh, I guess it isn't real. Good.
Yeah.
But it's still real.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Even though it isn't real. Yeah.
All right, let's go into Chronicle. What do you want to talk about with that, Jackson?
Chronicle is the best film of the year. I mean, I'll get into that a bit properly later, but Chronicle is amazing. It's so good.
Yeah, the only reason why I skipped over it is because I was like, I know this is Jackson's favorite movie of the year, and he's definitely going to bring it up during his TV list.
And people know that, but the thing that I think, like, both Chronicle and the Avengers in different ways are like the Avengers one end of the spectrum. Avengers is these are the heroes, this is how they became heroes, and this is the very happy fuck yeah story. Whereas Chronicle takes every like Peter Parker story, every underdog superhero story, and plays it to its actual logical conclusion. And what it does is beautiful. It's important in ways I don't think it's been credited for in what it's done to superhero movies, because people just see it as a found footage film. But yeah, I think that is an important film, and hopefully will be looked back on as such in the genre, because damn.
It is my favorite use of found footage in general.
Yeah.
Like next to the Blair Witch Project, but that kind of started it all, so yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's quite like like the Blair Witch Project since, because the Blair Witch Project, it was like, no, this is a brand new thing that we were coming up with, and ever since then, there's been people kind of going, well, what can we twist with it, or what can we do to rip it off? Like, what can we do to take advantage of this format? And
it was also pre the internet being kind of a big thing too, where people can Google the shit out of it.
It's also super cheap.
Yeah.
Well, yes, that too.
The next movie, a real movie, in which that movie happened.
Oh shit! Yeah, Blair Witch Project 2. Now I know what you're talking about. Let's go back to summer and let's talk about what I think a lot of people are viewing as one of the biggest disappointments of the year: Prometheus.
Oh yeah, that happened.
I mean, I don't think Prometheus is a bad movie, but I'm like,
it's an okay. The plot is not that great. It's beautifully
I don't
shot,
think it's that,
and that's the best thing.
To me, it's not so much that the plot is bad; it's that the logical steps that the characters take within the plot are bad. I mean, it's a lot of stuff like, "Hey, we're on this alien world. Let's take our helmets off because there's oxygen. There's probably other shit there too, you idiot."
if it didn't have
Or the
any
guy
of-
who makes the maps gets lost.
if it didn't have any of the aliens branding on it,
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure people would have liked it a lot more.
totally agree. Yes.
It's like they crash land onto the on a planet where they just sell aliens merchandise.
And also, I just think people are just want to bitch about Damon Lindelof and Lost incessantly. Which, you know what? That ending was great.
I agree.
Yeah.
People get too caught up in the mythology.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin's back.
Mythology
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
I haven't seen Lost, but mythology does matter. Everything I know about Lost says it is a show whose entire success was predicated on the mythology.
I wouldn't say that. They had like
Yeah.
really great
So I
characters
can see
in
why-
that, and they make
Yeah,
that satisfying. They make all the characters ending satisfying.
Yeah.
That's good. Because I thought that was Prometheus. I thought people's complaints were that everything wasn't explained. I was like, no, they don't have to be. I have other complaints with it, but it wasn't that it wasn't explained. That wasn't my biggest
Vincent the
complaint,
dog
so, yeah.
shows up at
The,
the end of
uh,
Lost, so best ending ever.
Yeah.
Vincent the dog.
Who shows up at the end of Lost?
Yeah. The I'm not sure if it was the first theatrical trailer for Prometheus, but the one where they're just cutting always on this like screaming. It's got to be.
Noise.
Yeah, that was a really affecting moment for me when I saw it in theaters.
That's an awesome trailer.
I was just
love
like,
that.
oh, I'm like, yes, I want to see this movie. And I saw that, I was like, oh, I don't think I want to see this movie anymore. It looks scary.
Yeah.
Well, we're running a little bit long, so let's. I'm going to combine a couple things together here. What was that noise for?
When has that ever stopped us?
I
did
know,
a
but I'm
mini-sode
I'm
that went
sick.
3
I'm getting tired
hours.
here, man. All right,
Oh, okay.
Unless they want to continue like another time or like make it a
we can do this. We can wrap this up. We can get this.
We can do it.
Yeah,
we,
all right.
yeah.
I was-
Next up, I want to talk about Madagascar 3, Brave, and pretty much every other animated film that came out this year. Because this was a fucking phenomenal year for animated films.
Well, non-Pixar animated movies.
Dude, Brave is so
I
good.
don't.
Oh no,
good,
it's
just
good.
not-
It's just not great. I want great.
I don't think we
Dude,
can
but
use
let's just
phenomenal.
point that out there. Brave is one of the most complained about animated films that came out this year, and it's still good.
Yeah, like
Let's point that out. This is a year in which we've seen every animated film that came out this year, except for the Ice Age one. Every one of them is good.
I don't think we can use phenomenal year for animated movies so close to 2009, which was with between Up and Coraline, Paranorman, and all that stuff was kind of shits over this year.
Did you just throw Paranorman into 2009?
No, not Paranorman. I didn't mean Paranorman. I meant the other one. I
Coraline?
said Coraline and 9, didn't I?
oh
you-
God, I hated 9.
You said Coraline Up.
Oh well.
Well, whatever.
Yeah, but also,
I
let's
went
look back
and
in 2009. 2009 had 5 films that got nominated for Oscars for Best Animated Feature, and one of them had to come from Ireland. So there were 4 good American-made animated films, 1 good European-made one. This year, there were 7 American-made animated films. Once again, have not seen the Ice Age one. Every single other one of them is good, if not great. Then there was also the
Hold on a
Hayao
minute.
Miyazaki
Hold on.
film that came out. Also, fucking great Studio Ghibli film.
Wait, the Secret World of Variety
You
or
just
that
said.
Town Upon a Hill?
Secret World of
okay.
Variety.
Oh, okay.
Are we just skipping over the fact that you said one of the animated films had to come from Ireland?
Yeah,
of all
no,
places?
no, no.
Secret Hells is a good movie.
It is. I'm not saying that makes it bad that it came from Ireland. I'm saying that across the entire world, 5 good movies came out. 4 from America, 1 from Ireland. That's all I'm saying. This year, 7 good animated films came from America, and then multiple other ones came from the rest of the world.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Is somebody going to come out against
We
I
got
just
a
say
good
that
video game
I-
movie.
yes.
Yeah,
Finally.
yeah. I mean, let's go with it. Let's see. Wreck-It Ralph, Brave,
Oh, yeah.
Rise of the Guardians, even Madagascar. I fucking do not like any of the other Madagascar films. Watch this one. It's an actual good film. I gotta say that.
Yeah, it's it's really
it's
good.
legitimately good. It feels weird for me to say a Madagascar film is good, but it actually is. And I mean, then you go into Secret World of Variety, Brave, Paranorman,
La Luna.
what am I forgetting?
Pirates.
Pirates.
Frankenweenie. Oh yes, Pirates.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Yeah. Pirates.
Exactly.
La
Dude.
Luna.
Yeah.
Pirates was
Yeah, I
great.
mean, this is a year in which I can't remember the last time in which there were this many animated films that came out in one year, and they're all good.
Speaking of good animation that came out in 2012, it's not a movie, but it is a TV show, Gravity Falls.
Oh, Gravity Falls!
Yes!
Yeah, great TV show that came out this year. Yeah, I mean, that is one of those shows in which, I mean, not since when The Simpsons were really good have I seen an animated film that really filled me the same way. Sorry.
Okay.
What do I do?
Nothing. Alright. But yeah, and also for television, another great year. Adventure Time was killing it. Motor City, which, I'll admit, I wasn't the biggest fan of Motor City, but it still was a good film, good show.
Regular show.
Regular show.
Regular show.
Amazing World of Gumball. Yeah, this was a great year for animation.
Young Justice when it was on.
You're totally forgetting Persona
Yeah.
4, the animation.
Yeah, I was gonna say like Persona 4.
Kevin, I
Yeah,
know you wanted to
it-
bring that up, yeah.
It does everything, like, all those great moments that you have, like, when you play the game are really awesome in the TV show. And, like, the first couple of episodes, they stick, like, almost too close to the game, like, the original, like, the first, maybe, like,
Yeah.
5-10 hours you play of that game is pretty much like the first 4 episodes, almost to a fault. But it also does like really creative and ingenious things. Like, like when you're playing the game during the summertime, and it's basically just social linking. They have the two best episodes I think of that show are just about that time frame. And it's just about social.
Yeah,
linking.
we just watched those ones.
Like one
Yeah, we
episode is
did.
just about Nanako trying to find out
Nanako.
what it's you. Yeah, what you is doing.
What
Yeah.
you are up to.
And it's like all the other characters are they're getting ringed in, trying to figure out what he's doing. And in the very next episode, it's from Yu's perspective, showing all the social linking he was doing, and it's genius. I love it.
Oh yeah, those 2 episodes are fantastic. I love
And
them.
the King's Game scene is incredible. It might even be better than the game. That's all I'm gonna say. Shirtless you.
Nice.
That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, alright, so that knocked out all the animated ones. Good, we're heading up. Let's see, next up I want to talk about Beasts of the Southern Wild. I'm not going to go into too much detail because it's definitely going to be one of my favorite movies of the year, so we'll talk about that. So I'll talk about that a lot there. But I do want to point out that, this is an independent film starring non-actors, and I mean, it really took people by storm who saw it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's very important to point out that, whenever something like that can come from outside of Hollywood and still make that kind of an impact.
I agree. I think that is a good thing about it. I think it's a shame that there was that thing about the Indie Spirit Awards where Silver Linings Playbook, which is totally not really an independent movie in any way whatsoever, is getting all these indie awards where Beasts of Southern Wilds, say what you like about it, it's indie. It's indie as fuck.
Yeah. That is indie all the way out there. Let's see. We are getting towards the end of summer, so we're getting towards like some of the dump month of August and September. Expendables 2, Paranorman. Well, we already talked about Paranorman a little bit there. Expendables 2, Cosmopolis.
Yeah.
Fucking Expendables 2.
Yeah, they killed themselves
damn
on their
it.
second movie. Oh.
Wait, what?
That's what happened?
Like Expendables 2,
No,
they
they-
just
it's
blow
not-
all their jokes and become far too...
Oh, I thought you meant they actually killed themselves. Like they
No,
had
I
to
thought
like
if they had
make
done
the
that-
ultimate sacrifice to save the world, or like.
If they had all
Have you
committed
seen
suicide,
have
I
you
would
seen
be
some of
appearing
those
far more
guys?
positive.
I think they might be getting
When
close
they
to that.
have the joke when Arnold says,
Yeah.
"I'll be back," and Bruce Willis says, "You've been back enough. I'll be back."
Lame.
Damn, man.
There's only one funny bit in that movie, and it's the bit where they're getting in a smart car, and Arnold Schwarzenegger opens the door and rips the door off. And it's only funny because they don't acknowledge it. Whereas every other time they stop and go to the camera and go, "See, we told a Chuck Norris joke. Did you get it? Did you get it?" Yeah, fuck
And
off,
that movie
Expendables.
just made me
Yeah.
feel bad for Dolph Lundgren.
How the fuck at the end of the first Expendables is he there hanging out with the rest of them after he totally betrays them? And, never mind. Fuck it. Alright.
Do you remember when Stallone wrote Rocky? Remember those
Yes.
days?
Speaking of
I
another
still don't
independent
believe
film,
that.
speaking of another independent film that that really got a lot of attention this year, Sleepwalk with Me. I don't know if anybody has gotten a chance to see that one yet.
I've never heard of it.
Oh!
No. Yeah, I haven't heard
It
of
was
it
Mike
either.
Birbiglia making a movie about his life, and it got tons of attention in the indie circles, I guess. But I thought it had gone to like major circles as well.
No.
I guess not.
Yeah, I'd heard of it. I hadn't seen it, but I'm aware of it.
Aaron's
Joss
taking
Whedon
the
hates
rest
it.
of us.
He's so into.
Sort of.
I'm too obscure.
Does he? Oh no!
Yeah.
Was that the joke video?
Yeah, that was the joke video. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see. Just naming off a couple of other ones that came out around this time: Resident Evil, Retribution, Trouble with the Curve, End of Watch, Dread.
Dread.
Red and End of Watch
Yeah.
is good.
Watch is good.
End of Watch is worth talking about because that's clerks in a police car, and it's great. It falls. Hopefully, it will signify progression to more movies like that, which fall within a genre of very standard plot devices, and just move towards just weird non sequitur slice of life in this crazy situation. Because it falls down when it has to have a plot. That's its worst part. If it was just them talking for 2 hours, it'd be way better.
Dread was beautiful and made me want novelty 3D glasses when I saw it. Also, I got to find out what a body would look like if it fell from a building 200 feet up and then hit the ground. Slow motion.
How good
Those
would
effect-
Dread 3D glasses be if it was just like the Judge helmets?
Oh, that'd be awesome. all my qualms about 3D, done. I have a Judge
You just go
Dredd
to a
helmet.
movie theater every single time wearing your Judge Dredd helmet.
It's like, I am the
And
law.
you just piss off everybody else who's sitting behind you. See with your stupid damn helmet!
It's a big, like, homemade one that looks like the helmet from Spaceballs. Just blocking the next 2 rows behind you.
Made out of paper mache.
A giant paper mache.
And then you
Judge
have it
Dredd
for so
helmet.
long that you start putting novelty stickers on it.
These are all the best
These are
ideas in
awesome.
the world.
You go to Comic Con to get it signed.
I like Dread because it shows a shift in. I know it didn't do well, but I would have liked it to show a shift into smaller, less epic comic book movies with a sense of scale in the background.
Yeah.
You can have the epic universe, but just tell a story that isn't about the end of said universe.
Yeah, and I watched that just last night, actually, and that's a pretty kick-ass movie.
Yeah.
Hell
Very
yeah.
cool.
If it weren't for my love of The Raid and having seen it before, I would have been like, oh, that's a novel concept of let's trap them in a building and they got to go to the top. But then I saw The Raid, so yeah.
Yeah, the guys making this movie walked out of the rain and just went, God damn it!
It's really specific too, because the way they introduced the villain with them interrogating the 3 suspects is identical to the way with the hammer in the Raid.
Yeah.
And it's like, shit, man, this is crazy how exactly the same it is.
Damn. Let's see. We're moving into October now, and we already talked about Looper a little bit earlier on the show. We've talked about Hotel Transylvania a lot on this show, actually. I love the hell out of that movie, but love is a strong word. Love is a strong word. I very much enjoyed that movie, and I think it gets a lot of bad praise simply because, hey, it's the Adam Sandler guys.
I will say one thing before we move on about Looper, is that kid is amazing.
Yeah, the kid
Yes.
in that, didn't you just want to grab George Lucas and throw him and force him to watch this and go, that's how you do young Darth Vader, you idiots.
Yeah, I hope that kid has an amazing career. Because he's
Me
already
too.
super talented.
So,
I totally, this is jumping all the way back to like February, but shout outs to 21 Jump Street.
yeah,
Just real
you know
quick.
what? Yeah.
That was like, that movie sounds retarded on its head.
Yeah.
And then you see it, and it is, but it also is heartfelt and pretty good. And just self-aware enough that it has fun with its own.
If we're jumping
premise.
back to Goon,
I like
or
it.
March, let's talk about Goon 2.
Oh, dude, Goon. Yeah, okay, that's enough about Goon.
Thoroughly enjoyed Goon. It's going to be on my list, so I'll talk about it later. Let's see. Here's another one that I'll talk mostly about later, but I got to bring this up.
Yep.
Argo.
Great movie.
God
has-
damn, man. Ben
That-
Affleck did the hat
Still haven't
trick,
seen it.
all right?
That first 10 minutes, I was just like, oh.
Absolutely terrifying.
Those first 10 minutes are the best zombie film I've ever seen that does not involve zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it becomes in the loop for an hour, and then it becomes a fucking tension spy.
I saw that
It's
twice.
great.
I saw that twice, and Jackson, you said that this movie has so much comedy, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But that's because the first time I saw it, I was so wrapped up in the tension, and it just had me in a vice grip. Saw it the second time, didn't have as much tension, but I was laughing my ass off throughout, because it is hilarious.
Sir, we can't find him. Find him with the fucking CIA!
Find me the Secretary of State. How are we supposed to do that? We're a fucking spy agency. Just find him.
So good.
That's the
Anything
best line.
So
You know what?
smart.
I'm gonna ask this right now. That is my favorite line of dialogue.
No.
From the year.
It's not even the best.
What?
No. The best one was, this is the best bad idea we have,
Yes.
sir. By far.
It's like talking to those two old fucks from the Muppet Show.
I'll go fuck yourself.
But that line about we're a fucking spy agency is my favorite line from anything this year. Does anybody else
an amazing line.
have a favorite line from 2012?
Okay, give me a second. Go.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going through this, but you guys just go ahead and think about that. Let's see. Next thing to talk about, you know what? I'm gonna talk about Paranormal Activity 4. Because this was the one that just kind of marked who gives a shit in the franchise.
It was a total letdown.
Oh.
And I'm like, this is coming from someone who kind of has a little bit of admiration for that movie, for that like franchise as a whole, because it's what my friends see. But like, yeah, they just mailed that one in.
They did not give a shit on this one. And as for the whole Skype call thing, I guarantee you they saw VHS and said, let's just rip that off. By the way, VHS, now on Netflix Instant Queue, the perfect way to watch that, because you can skip right past all the boring and stupid shit at the beginning. Wait, after that, Cloud Atlas. I know, Kevin, you really want to talk about this.
I do.
This is your favorite movie of the year!
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess it is.
It's... It makes me
It's
love
alright, I guess.
the magic of movies and what storytelling can do and what Cloud Atlas does with its narrative and how it doesn't feel like it has to like converge or like stick within some sort of formula for creating that narrative and trying to do something ambitious and trying to make a movie that's like a book that's unfilmable. Even when it fails, like every single time there was like a moment that I did not like, it actually made me enjoy the movie more. Because on some weird level, and I'm not even sure how I came to this conclusion, that if the movie was perfect, I would feel like I would like go out of my way to figure out how it did it, and it's though I felt tricked almost. But because it isn't a flawless movie, and it does have those flaws, makes me enjoy it more. And out of every single movie I saw this year, this is the one that I'm still thinking about every single day. It's the movie that stuck with me the longest, and just makes me love movies. And it's one of those movies that earns the word epic, because epic is thrown around way too many times to describe a movie, and this feels epic in a way that Lawrence of Arabia feels epic. It feels like scope and scale, what it does with characters and everything else. Everything about Cloud Atlas deserves the word epic.
All right. Hey man, I've really enjoyed it too. I can't top that. So,
well, you even said like when the movie hits its highs, those highs are like through the roof.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, don't get me wrong, I have problems with the film, but when it is working, holy crap. You know, I compared it to a magician pulling tricks, and when it hits its highs, that's David Copperfield making the Statue of Liberty disappear. That's the level of high that's hitting. Let's go into the next couple films. We are now running into the end of the year, so I'm just going to start listing these off. Wreck-It Ralph, we talked about a little bit, but I gotta say, that is one of those films that the trailer for it had me watching that over and over again. And I still really enjoyed it. I know some people felt let down. I really dug it.
If anything, you should see it just so you can see the Paperman short, which melted my heart in 7 minutes. And I'm not a guy who, like, rocks to romance stuff. Seriously.
Nice. Let's see. We already talked about Flight earlier in the show. Skyfall?
Yeah, Skyfall. Skyfall's awesome.
I want to see that movie
Skyfall is
again.
my favorite Skyfall is my favorite James Bond movie, only because I've seen 2 James Bond movies. However, listen, I don't know why I'm in the minority on this, but I thought the opening was fucking amazing. Yet for some reason I'm in...
No,
Huh?
I'm with you,
Nice.
Aaron.
All right.
I think it's cool.
You're crazy.
Done.
It's good.
That's exactly how a
Yeah,
Bond
this was
film,
the
you
first
get
time
the
I ever
big-
saw a James Bond film in which the moment that music started playing, I was like, "Fuck yes!" Da-na, da-na, da-na-na. I get it. I get James Bond.
Yeah.
All right.
You do. You understand
Yeah,
the whole
I
thing.
get the whole thing. He's the guy who rides motorcycles across the top of buildings. That's what he does, right? All right. Let's see. The Hobbit we already talked about. Shit. What else came out at the end of the year?
Life of Pi.
Pie. Sure. Yeah, I know you really dug that one.
Life of Pi is great. The first 30 minutes of
My
that
God.
film are great. Love the film.
Yeah.
Red Dawn.
I wish they red what? Why?
Tom
It's
Cruise's
worth
son's
mentioning
got
just
a-
because it balances out Cabin in the Woods as, you know, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have all the films that were thrown into the bunker when they had that weird MGM dispute. All right.
America's gonna fight back with its main character, an Aussie, playing an American.
Let's
It's
see.
like, everyone is playing Americans except Americans. It's...
They're stealing our jobs.
They took our jobs!
Thank you.
Yeah, all those superheroes are British, taking away all the superhero jobs.
Truth, justice, and kidney pie. That is the Superman pie.
That is offensive.
Yes.
None of us even like kidney pie over here. Barely 5 of us have heard of it.
Shit. Well, we're at the end of the year, so we've got Les Mis, which we already talked about, Django, which we did a whole spoiler sport on, and then, of course, Zero Dark 30, which none of us have seen, but I'm seeing tomorrow. So, alright.
Damn, we're so informed.
But, yes, so, looking back at 2012, you know, what would you say this was the year of? Channing Tatum is one.
Matthew
Matthew
McConaughey.
McConaughey. Yeah, when did those two guys suddenly decide I'm going to be actors?
Matthew McConaughey
This
never
year?
left.
Matthew McConaughey never left, but he did have a period of time where he was just chilling on the couch playing bongos.
I refuse to believe that. Matthew McConaughey apologist right here. Don't diss Sahara. Sahara's awesome.
I give Sahara 2 out of 3 all rights. All right.
I really want to watch Sahara because now there are 2 Sahara apologists I know. I need to know where I fall on that because everyone hates Sahara, and I'm like, it looks kind of cool.
It's completely ridiculous, and
Fucking
it enjoys that.
Alright, so Matthew McConaughey, Channing Tatum, women, which the fact that Channing Tatum had this year kind of makes it a year for women.
Animation?
Animation. Those are all
Bow and the
things that,
arrow.
Yeah, Year
Bow
of the
and arrow.
Bow.
Yes.
those are things that really just knocked it out of the park this year. And so yeah,
Films,
I'm just gonna ask you guys a
TV.
few random questions here. What was your favorite villain of 2012?
Oh shit! All right, someone else go.
Candy King.
Candy King?
Yeah,
Okay, the Candy
especially
King, yes.
yeah, from Wreck-It Ralph, especially like the very end. Where
Yeah,
it
no
revealed-
spoilers. Yeah,
I know, but yeah, that was just really awesome. Like,
Yeah, I know there's gonna be a lot of snobs who went, "Oh, I totally saw that coming." Listen, I see a lot of movies. I was shocked when when it gets to the end of that movie. Another animated character. This is gonna sound really weird coming from the guy who fucking hates the Madagascar franchise. Inspector Dubois from Madagascar 3. That is just a fucking Looney Tunes character on crack throughout that whole thing. The Terminator, as if done by Chuck Jones, is what she is, and it's I've loved every moment of that. Let's see, who else has got a great villain? Who's got a favorite villain?
I'm gonna go with Amon from Legend of Korra.
From Legend of Korra, yes.
Because I want to say Bane because I like the performance, but I can't. Even though I just did, but
The governor.
Your reckoning will come for not choosing Bane.
nobody cared about me until I put on the mask.
No one cared
the
about
governor.
the governor until he got his eye patch.
Everyone thought Bane was the best villain of the year until he turned out to be a pussy-loving whatever Talia's name was. Talia.
No, that's why I love him, though. Is
Because he
that
gets
scene?
taken out like a bitch at the end?
No, it's that scene where he's like, "Who said I escaped the pit?" And you just go back, and I was like, "Oh." It was just
Oh, that is a great moment. I love that.
yeah. That moment was like, yes, I nearly cried.
But yeah, who's the governor? You also said. Yeah, that was you.
That's me.
Yeah, I have to direct this
Yeah.
at the computer screen, but it means whoever it is. I can't actually turn in your direction.
Phil Fish from Indie Game the movie. Villain of the year.
Oh shit, Kevin, you got one?
I would just say Joe from Looper. He's his own worst enemy.
Yeah, fair enough. Although I would also,
Both
speaking of
old
Cloud
and
Atlas,
young Joe.
yeah, and speaking of Cloud Atlas, I kind of also have to throw out, what was his name?
Bill Smoke.
What?
Bill Smoke.
Oh no, I was
Hugo
just gonna
Weaving's
say,
character. All of Hugo Weaving's.
that was it, Hugo Weaving. All of Hugo
Yeah.
Weaving throughout time. Hugo Weaving has
Yeah.
always been an asshole.
And
That is
Hugh
the moral
Grant.
of that movie.
And Hugh Grant as
Hugh
the cannibal.
Grant has always been the sniveling sidekick asshole. Hugo Weaving has always been the... Jesus Christ, I almost expected them to go into the Matrix and just show Neo with the comment thing on there, because Hugo Weaving, once again, an asshole. But yeah, let's see. What's
Loki.
one of your favorite characters from the year? Anybody have one?
Doug Glass.
Wait, did we genuinely get through that without anyone saying Loki?
Loki,
No.
don't get me wrong, Loki is a great villain, but I have someone that beats him out. I think everybody has someone that beats him out. But yeah, Loki deserves the honorable mention, I think.
Loki cannot
that
come back
probably
for
my
another
genuine-
Marvel movie.
What was that?
He,
That'd even... What?
Loki cannot come back for another Marvel movie.
Unless he's
Yes,
like
he can.
in,
He is-
like a cage or something. Like
No, he is going to be helping the Avengers in Avengers 2, and you know it. I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to run it to the
And then he's
ground.
going to
If they
die
do
and
that,
become
That'd be the
and
worst
become a girl.
idea ever.
No, then he can die and become a girl, like in the comics.
oh yeah, I forgot that.
Crazy female
No.
Loki.
No, he didn't die and become
I
a girl. He was reincarnated as a girl. But then when that girl dies, he came back as a little kid, which would kind of be awesome.
The genuine best villain from the year for me is dude from Chronicle, because
Yeah. But yeah, let's go into
that's all I'll say
let's
about
go
it.
into favorite characters, which I think that might also be your same answer, Jackson.
it's either that or the dude from Ruby Sparks. One of the two.
Let's see. My favorite character, I gotta go with the protagonist in Goon.
Yeah. Doug
That
Glass.
dude is a walking
Yeah,
teddy
yeah.
bear.
Oh,
A walking teddy bear with the natural talent for kicking ass.
What's that thing he says? Let's have our stomach likes together, or whatever it was.
Oh yeah.
Just be like E E.T.
We can all phone home together. That movie manages to make a 69 joke both endearing and funny and relevant. How?
Oh god, I know. Alright, anybody else got a favorite character?
Now I'm going to say Bane, because Nolan and Co. finally did a well-rounded villain.
I told you your reckoning would come.
Do you mean as in the shape of his head?
Now you have my permission to die.
When Bane is your favorite character of the year, you have my permission to die.
Then Bane is not my favourite character of the year, then.
Oh no, what does that say about me?
I'd like to thank Maz for having joined us all these years. Alright.
All this year.
All this year. It's technically been 2 now, in a way.
Sort of.
Yeah. Let's see. Michelle, you got a favorite character?
Mabel Pines from Gravity Falls.
Oh, shit, yes! I keep forgetting television, but Mabel Pines is so good. Mabel Pines is the kind of character I should find annoying, but I don't! I love her. Let's see, who hasn't given one yet?
I have a few.
Me.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Mike.
Oh, I'm gonna go with Daryl because Daryl is a badass. Walking Dead.
Alright, Kevin, what's your favorite characters?
I have a few. I have you from Persona 4 the animation. They do amazing things with a character that you played and had nothing to say. I would say Jenna Hamilton from the show Awkward, because more people have to watch that show. And the last one is Javier Bardem in Skyfall.
Oh, yeah, he's nice.
And another great villain from this year.
All right, let's see. Before we go, anybody have a biggest surprise of 2012?
Channing Tatum.
Channing Tatum, I gotta admit. Yeah, damn, man, what happened with him?
I'm legitimately wanting to see side effects now. Mainly for Steven Soderbergh, but also because of Channing Tatum. And Rooney Mara and all that. But hey.
Yeah, I gotta admit, that was just a big surprise to me, man, that Channing Tatum, if it's one thing if he could act in a Soderbergh film, because he's proved before he knows how to direct people who can't act. He was good in 21 Jump Street, too.
That's the dude who...
Yep, he was.
The dudes who made Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yeah. Which, honestly, that is my biggest surprise of the year, 21 Jump Street.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, because I was not expecting to like that, and I really enjoyed it.
Huh. Okay. So I guess I was quite surprised by it, but it wasn't so good. It fell into enough dumb traps of shooting itself in the foot, like the dick at the end.
Yeah, that was a bit too much.
Come on. You have a heartfelt movie here. Don't put the bloody dick in it. Great, you put the bloody dick in his mouth. I'm gonna go home now. Well, it's going so well. I think God Bless America might have been my biggest surprise. Because half of it is garbage, but the other half is really good. It's weird. That film's weird.
Anybody else have one they want to throw out? Yeah, I probably should have given these to you guys at the beginning and asked you to start thinking of it, but...
that would require...
Yeah, I thought you were the
how we
professional.
normally do this show.
Yeah, off the top of my head, I can't.
Persona 4, the animation.
I'm on episode 6. Gonna work my
That
way
show
through
could have been
that.
terrible, but it's not.
My biggest surprise would be Battleship and how not entertaining it is.
Yeah.
I was hoping it'd be stupid funny, but it's not.
No, it cost Rihanna. Okay, like, that's a sign of not stupid. That's a sign of, no, we're going to be serious. Because we're paying Rihanna.
For some reason, my only question about that film was, does Rihanna, who is basically playing the Michelle Rodriguez character, survive? That was the only thing I wanted to know, because Michelle Rodriguez always dies, and this was
And then
clearly
comes back.
the same role.
Maybe that's why she didn't take the
Does she
role.
come back?
Michelle Rodriguez comes back in the Fast and Furious franchise. She comes back in the Resident Evil franchise. She came back in the Resident Evil movie, and they killed her twice in this one.
What? What the I need to watch the Resident Evil movies.
I love the end of Fast 5 where they're just like, oh no, she's back. Cut on that, like, cold stream
I
noise.
wasn't around when everyone voted on the "we should have Michelle Rodriguez get work" bandwagon the first time. I wasn't around to vote on that. I'm around this time to vote on the "don't bring her back." Okay, why is it suddenly like, hey, Michelle Rodriguez, we should bring her back in things? I'm not down with that. No.
She was in SWAT, okay? She can play tough badass chick, and right now all we got is Mila Jovovich, the chick from the chick in Underworld, and
Or
Gina
you
Carano.
could go out and find new badass girls. That's the thing. You can go out and find new ones. They recently, like a couple months ago, they cast the Danger Girls movie, and which Danger Girls was a comic in the 90s when comics were also terrible about
We all know Danger
about
Girls.
girls but for the people listening who don't, it was about girls in their 20s who were all like wearing skin tight pants and kicking ass. Every single girl they cast for that movie in their 40s.
Oh, that's not hot.
It's like, no, don't get me wrong. They're still hot. I'm not questioning that. What I'm questioning is, are there no younger badass girls? Like
Sucker
seriously,
Punch.
Do we have... Rape is not badass, Kevin.
You know what? That's
The
going to be
more you know.
That'll be my surprise of 2013 if Zack Snyder manages to direct a good movie that isn't officially based on any one thing. Like, he's just adapting a pre-existing story. He has to... Okay, I know it's a Superman origin, but come on.
It's based on Christopher Nolan rubbing his hands across his face going, no, Zach, you can't do that.
I don't. If this film is good, I don't think it'll You know, it won't. Zack Snyder will not be redeemed until he makes his own film, which is legitimately
Absolutely.
good.
But yes, so that was our discussion about 2012. I want to thank all my guests for coming on. Stay
What up?
tuned, everybody, because soon we're going to be are going to start having our best of worst of lists start coming up. In fact, we're actually going to record one of them tomorrow, so it might be going up with this post. But I want to thank everybody who came on: Jackson, Maz,
Go.
Kevin,
I just get called into these things.
Kevin,
Helicopters on Revolution, March 2013.
Mike.
Uh,
Okay.
None of us have good things to say as an outro.
You can say bye.
That's boring.
Mike, say
Whatever.
something witty.
See, watch
Say
this.
say something.
Michelle.
Bye.
There you go, you assholes.
Say something witty. Say something witty right now. If you don't make me laugh, I will kill
Something
you.
witty.
Dragon Ball Evolution.
Well done.
See?
You passed the test. You passed the test.
Yay!
Wait, if we're doing his best of list now, does this mean Aaron can stop torturing himself with god awful
No, I got
movies?
one more to see. Comes out on the 15th, and it's supposed to be the craziest of them all.
What is it? I'm excited now.
Stay tuned to hear me talk about that one, everybody.
No, I want to know what it is so I can get it myself.
I'm
Because I
I'm
hate
going.
I hate
I am
myself.
going to watch Branded on the 15th.
Why?
This is supposed to be the craziest film that's come out all year round. I'm saving it.
Mistakes
I'm
are being
saving
made.
the nuttiest for last. All right,
That's great.
all right, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Something witty.
bye.